Welcome to San Miguel TV. This is San Miguel. We are live with a special guest, FlyGuyLocs. What's up, bro?
Yo,
Introduce yourself to the people, man.
yo, what's good? What's good, everybody? I'm Fly Guy Locks. Everybody, pretty much in the beauty industry knows me as Fly Guy Locks. I know my boy Miguel here from about maybe almost going on what 12 years ago, 12 13 years ago. I came here to
Yeah.
Florida to join the Hebrews, and all the way from the West Coast of the
Yeah,
country.
where'd you come from? I remember you came
I
from out of
came
town,
from
but where was you from?
Yeah, I came all the way from Arizona.
And you had just came into Florida and kind of came into the ICGJC and the Hebrew Israelite shit.
Yeah, well, I had, because there wasn't no big time following or whatever. I found these guys when I was in college, and that was all the way in the Midwest. And so when I went back home after school, I still had they called us, when you're kids, you're sponges still, regardless if it's college or high school or whatever. So they
Right.
came to us with that different flavor of, and I was born and raised in church, and all of that stuff. So, they came with a different flavor of explaining the words, in the scriptures or whatever. So I automatically gravitated towards that, hearing it differently, you know,
Mhm.
as whereas the your typical church experience, you know what I'm saying? So that's what caught me. And then so I took it all the way back home and of course, when you're spouting all this stuff to your to people that and stuff like that, family and friends and loved ones and stuff like that, it's crazy. It sounds like you're a psychopath, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I
So
mean,
I ended up
we know it sounds crazy, like when we say it back to people. But why do you think
yeah.
that it like that you fell into it? Why did it attract you so much?
You know what? I'll be honest, man. It attracted me the most thing that attracted me to that it was that it was kids my age that was into it. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, so okay, and a
Yeah.
lot of them I knew, as and I looked up to them as being, well endowed in knowledge and stuff like that. You look up to some of these people, and so you see them in it, and you're like, oh shoot, okay, well it must be worth something. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
the homie is up in there, so I'm like,
Mm.
well, so I listened to it and shoot, man, 2 3 weeks left over, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, turned into a month, a couple of months going to this stuff every day in school, and and you're
Yeah.
hooked. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
we was going to the classes every Wednesday in school, and so that every the course of a whole year doing that every day, every week or whatever, it kind of adds up. And so, I came out of there horrible, man. I ended a lot of relationships with friends and, and all type of stuff, man. It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, oh, how long were you in there?
I saw them. They came to us in 2006, and then I left school and in 2007, and in 2008 as when I first moved to Orlando, and that's when I met with y'all at the spot on Lancaster.
Okay. Oh, and just real quick, would you like anybody to try to reach you on here for whatever? Because you say you do hair and all of that. I don't know if you want to give out any social media or anything like that.
Oh, I mean, everybody can check my work at Real Fly Guy Locks on Instagram. You can check me out. All my work and everything is there. If you want to message me, feel free to. And I also have a backup page. It's the Real Fly Guy Locks. So if you ever want to message me or whatever, my number, contact information is right on there. So
Did they kick you off of Instagram or something? I think you said something like that.
yeah, well, I don't know what's going on. They have this censorship going on and all that. I may have gotten caught up in some type of web or something because they have completely disabled my main account. I've had that account for the better part of about 10 years, 10, 12 years, man. So I don't know
Wow.
what's going on, but and so that's why I created the other page. So,
Wow.
if
Yeah.
anybody wants to hit me up there, I can see your messages, but I just can't reply to anything. And all features and everything have been disabled on that account. So it is what it is, man.
Okay. Yeah.
You
I
know.
sent you a message recently on there, but but yeah.
hmm
So yeah. I mean. So okay. So then you left the Hebrew Israelite thing. I remember when you left. And you and Alex, you did videos. Y'all was talking, and I actually got in contact with y'all a little bit after that.
hmm
But why did you leave? What made you say, "I'm done with this"?
All right, so in my situation, you know, I was a kid, you know, coming from all the way over there to here and in a place that I had never been. So I'm expecting to see fireworks. I'm expecting to see grandeur and, you know, grandiose type of occasions and stuff like that. Man, I
Right.
was going from struggle to struggle to struggle to struggle. For first off, in things that I had never had to do in my whole entire life. Now, I'm not really, I'm not the, richest person in the world, nor do I come from the richest family, but I ain't never knew struggle until I got older. You know what I'm saying? But this was just, I was going from house to house. I mean, people was passing me around like it was crazy, man. I couldn't get stable. I couldn't find a solid job or anything. So, and then when I did, the people from the church was calling, harassing my job and stuff. And right then, when you mess with my money, that's when we have a problem. So I was like, okay, y'all, this is it. That was my last straw right there. Was when they popped up at my job, and
Wow.
that was crazy, man. It just got too out of hand, man. It was like really that's when it really seemed like a cult. When I was
Mm.
in my work clothes and I seen them coming in with their little red tunics and and drapes, it was
Wow.
just like it was crazy, man. And I couldn't do anything. I felt like as if I was that feeling when you're about to get a whooping from your parents and all of that, when you're a kid.
Yeah.
I felt
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just like that because the first person that looked over me that I felt eyes that was on me was my manager,
Mm.
and sure as it has it, that was it, man. And so I left, man. That was it. That was it. I come all the way down here for this, nah, man. When I could have stayed where I was, had a full career and everything, had my life set and everything, But just like
Yeah.
they say, only for Jesus.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there was a lot of things that like I put to the side because of that place. Things that
Yeah,
I don't even
yeah.
know. Like you wouldn't even know what you missed out on. Like half the stuff that you missed
Hmm.
out on because you
A
was
lot
just
of brothers have. It was a
oh
lot of intelligent brothers in that place, man. It was a
man.
lot of them, and they just threw it all away, man.
Yep, yep. I still speak to some of these brothers. I try to keep in contact
Yeah,
with a lot of the ex members. I've because I've been doing these videos for years. I've been doing this channel for years, and that was my main focus, trying to reach
hmm,
people in there. I thought it was like really important to reach people in there, especially the family that I still had in there. But after
right,
a certain point, especially up until like 2018, 2019, when like when that whole crowd just left recently, like Raphael, Wilney,
right.
Gary, my boy here, Sean, everybody had just left like almost at the same time. And that was like, that felt like really good. And like
Hmm,
I felt like kind of accomplished a little bit, even though I don't give it all up to myself. There was definitely
right.
other brothers involved with that, but at least my channel was there for people to go to and kind of confirm what they already kind of knew. And
Hmm.
there's a lot of voices out there speaking out. And I appreciate that you did that. You were one of the first voices on there back in like 2012,
Yeah, man, we
2011.
did that video years ago, man. That was a minute ago.
Yeah, need to be free, man. Alex, that's my brother, man. He did good stuff
Yeah,
initially.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I wish he could have kept on going. Maybe it could have, really been something. But I
yeah.
mean, everything happens for a reason. I mean, people could still go back and look at that video and be like, wow, And I've come a long way
That's what I'm
since
saying.
even
Like
then.
video is there. Like you can always go back and
Hmm.
like I've gone back even when I left. Like I already had seen those videos, but when I
Hmm.
had started to come out in like 2015, 2016, and I know people probably do the same thing when they leave. They probably just start looking, just trying to see what else people were saying. And that's one of the top videos. I mean, why I left the ICGJC on the Need to Be
Yeah.
Free channel has like over 80, 90,000 views now, I think. So
Wow.
that comes up as like a former ICGJC video, So yeah, y'all did good things, Alex. Man, I tip my hat to Alex. I had him
Yeah,
on here.
man.
I had him on here one time. I definitely wanted to get him on here, so I'm glad I got to do it at least once because that's my brother right
Hmm.
there. Yeah, so all right, man. So I mean, we can move on from that. ICGJC is pretty much a damn lame duck right
Yeah,
now.
it's done. Yeah, it's done. It's
It's
done.
done.
And pretty
Ain't
much,
no,
and if you notice that pretty much everybody that was cool with each other, that ran with each other in church, everybody's cool outside now. Everybody's cool
right.
outside of that shit now. So everybody's great, man. Everybody's living their life, having fun and handling their business like grown men, man. I'm proud of them all, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's
I mean,
doing real
yeah, and
good.
that place is in the rearview mirror now. Like, and
Yeah,
then like
yeah.
these new cats that's coming out now. Like last night, I had a young brother that I don't even know how he learned the Hebrew Israelite doctrine. I think it is online through a group called GOCC, which is way more known and has like outgrown the ICGJC like 10 times over. They got like
Wow.
90,000 members worldwide or something like that, maybe
And
less.
they're
I don't
teaching the same stuff?
no, it's pretty much
Oh,
the black people are the Hebrew Israelites, and they throw in the Hispanics in there. They kind of change up the 12 tribe sign a little bit. They tweak it and throw in like Samoans and like
oh my goodness.
Polynesians somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much the same thing. They got the same doctrine, Deuteronomy 28, Revelation chapter 1. Except they teach Gentiles. They teach that Gentiles can be saved. So check that out
Oh.
now. You got a Hebrew Israelite group that came out of One West, pretty much, and that are now accepting, the Gentiles, the other nations.
So what are the Gentiles supposed to be subservient to the Jews? I'm not seeing where he's going with this.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like they
That's
can join.
ridiculous.
They could, yeah, which is mad degrading. They can join,
Yeah.
but they are not the chosen. They're not on the level as a actual Israelite. But yeah, Brooklyn Outlaw, man, that's Sean right here. Kazakh, same shit, different toilet. Pretty much, man. Pretty much. But yeah, that dude from last night, he don't even know the ICGJC. He knows nothing about their history. He doesn't know that Ariya's in there. He vaguely knows like the Comforter, and it's like that place is like just turned to nothing, man. Like I don't even know what they're trying to do with their doctrine and their entire camp. But it looks like they're trying to just turn it into like some damn hip hop group with their record label, with Saint Basil, because like there's nobody really left in there that I can think of. Like, you got Tazdaki's brother, who's like, I don't even know if he's a teacher or whatever. You got Arya, I believe, is still in there. He's probably like almost on his deathbed. And Shar.
Man, he's got to be,
you
because
got,
he was old when I was in there.
yeah, man. You saw it, like you could tell, like he didn't have much years left. So I'm sure he's barely doing anything in there. But the only face, the face that everybody knows in there is Saint Basil, and I don't know if they're even doing anything. I don't really check for them anymore, so I wouldn't know. The last thing I saw was that they're just posting videos of like Tazadaki's classes and DVDs and all of that.
Tazi's greatest hits.
Yeah, I have to go back and like all them damn DVDs that they was trying to sell to people. Not even throwing them online for free and stuff.
I mean, I think I bought one DVD, bro, the whole time I was in there. I think I bought one.
Yeah, I bought a bunch.
I couldn't even tell you which one it
spent
was.
like over $1,000 to $2,000 on DVDs.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
I remember one.
And all we're doing is all we're doing is getting him his all we're doing was getting his Lamborghini for the weekend.
Pretty much, man. Yeah. Crazy, bro. But yeah, man, but that's old news now. You got other groups pretty much surpassing the ICGJC, but they pretty much talking the same thing. But you kind of hear that same type of talk, that black nationalism shit, that focus on
man. It's that black supremacy.
Yeah, the white supremacy. Everybody's talking about that now. Just going into a topic, the topic of this class is current events in culture and society. The topic of this live class is current events in culture and society. So we could pretty much start getting into that. Like how I mean, what's going on today with this racism, everything. That's pretty much what the ICGJC and Hebrew Israelites was on, anti-racism. Right.
Well, you know what, the thing is, the thing of it is, if you really pay attention to it, the base of it is it's victimhood.
Yeah. Hello? I think you cut out real quick. Can you hear me? Yeah, you cut out on me, bro. Can you hear me? Yeah, bro. I think you hopefully you come back here. We'll keep the live going, but
For me, you
can you
know,
hear me?
yeah. Can you hear
You
me?
got cut out there for a while.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
last thing
no,
I heard
I was.
you said it's like victimhood.
Yeah, it's victimhood, man. It's victimhood pays. It's you get everybody's getting paid to be a victim now. I mean, look at Juicy Smollett. You know,
Right.
look at Colin Kneecaps. You know what I'm saying? Look at Bubba Wallace. They all getting paid to be victims.
Wallace.
You know,
Yo,
be
so
victim.
so
It's
so
nuts.
I saw the other day or yesterday, I was watching YouTube clips or whatever, and then an ad came up, and his damn Ben and Jerry's ice cream with Colin Kaepernick's damn face with an afro and everything on there, talking about change the
Yeah,
world.
he's got his own ice cream.
Every
That couldn't be
company,
more. That couldn't
yeah,
be more
yeah.
humiliating.
I mean, every company out here, from Netflix to Uber, all these companies, Disney, they're all like bending the knee, right, to this
Yeah,
anti-racism thing. It's like they're going over the top to just agree with them, even though it might be a little irrational, illogical, because I understand the need to want to fight for something virtuous, and I think that's where the appeal comes in.
that's
It's
what it
called,
is.
yeah,
It's a major virtue signal.
virtue
I
signal,
mean, on right.
grandstanding. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it
And
is.
let me give the definition of grandstanding real quick. Grandstanding is the action of behaving in a showy or ostentatious manner in an attempt to attract favorable attention from spectators or the media. Grandstanding.
Check that out.
Uh-huh. That's
That's
exactly
crazy,
what's
man.
going on, man. And then, like, even though, like, a dude like Colin Kaepernick is promoting things like communism, Fidel Castro. He wore a shirt one time with Fidel Castro on there, and I think they asked him about it. He spoke
Mm,
about how he helped. This is what they always say. Well, he helped give them free education and free healthcare, and it's like, okay, yeah, you get all of that, but then at the same time, that freedom that you have here in this country to kneel down and not participate in the patriotic things, you don't have that freedom of speech in Cuba. You wouldn't have that freedom to do that what you're doing here in America in a
yeah,
country like Cuba.
it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's funny how everybody that talks about communism and socialism have never lived in a socialist or a communist state ever.
Right. Yeah, a lot of Cubans
It's just so
come out.
funny.
A lot of Cubans, famous Cubans, come out and start, speaking up and saying like, "Yo, you don't know what you're talking about. I want to be up in Cuba." All that is because it's like romantic, like romanticize that whole idea of Fidel Castro overcoming and overtaking a country. Like just
Hmm.
from the sound of it, just looking from the outside, it's like, oh snap, that's very powerful and courageous. It's a revolution. Che Guevara.
Hmm.
People like wearing Che Guevara shirts and shit. And it's like it sounds all nice, but it's like these cats were crazy and misguided as hell. They were being funded by like Russia. I think a lot of these cats.
Yeah, the USSR and the Soviets and all that back in those days.
Yeah, yeah. You could go into the history of like how Che Guevara and Fidel Castro took over Cuba. The Bay of
Man,
Pigs. I mean, they pretty much like they slaughtered a lot of their own people.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, man. I mean, and Che Guevara, man, has said some very racist things before about black people. And people don't know that. And I would see a lot of black people wearing damn Che Guevara shirts and shit. Not even knowing
It's
some of the
nuts.
things that was some said some
It's
racist.
nuts how it's pop culture to wear that type of stuff now. The
Yeah, exactly what it
those
is.
type of stuff. It's
Yeah,
nuts, man. I see it all
it's
the time with the kids now. It's pop culture because they see it on the rap video or something, or they see it on the movies or something like that. They want to emulate it, and it looks just so silly.
TikTok, man. Them TikTok videos. And cats be on some damn feminism. You ever seen these feminists on TikTok, bro? They're ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like because I look at feminism, that movement, kind of similar to this anti-racist movement. They
Hmm.
they go over the top where now you start hating men, You start
Yeah,
speaking about
that's what
men.
it boils down to.
It's like you just hate. It's
That's
like
what.
there's nothing else to fight for at this time.
Yeah,
Women have the right to work. You can get an abortion if you want. You don't have to be a stay-at-home mother. You know, you don't have to do none of that stuff. Same thing with the anti-racism movement. Black people have all the right that everybody else
they
has.
have
They have
everything.
equal
They have
rights. They have
everything.
even more rights, if anything.
Right. And even more now than they did then,
Oh
because it's
my
just
God.
so out in your face now. It's just crazy.
I mean, they get away with a lot of shit. Like being black right now, just under the guise of, oh, I'm an anti-racist or I'm an activist. You could get away with saying some crazy stuff. You could be like Tamika Mallory, man. Like
Yeah.
if the BLM, if people in BLM were or if people outside of BLM, like these other groups, were to start speaking like people in BLM, where they incite violence and riots and bloodshed, which some of them have, they would be labeled a damn terrorist group, a domestic terrorist
Yeah.
group. But I
Yeah.
think because people are so scared to be labeled a racist or whatever, they let them slide with saying shit and doing certain things.
Yeah,
But
it's a ping word. It's a ping word now, and it's like now in this society now. I mean, everybody's racist, therefore nobody is racist. You know, I mean, give me a break.
right. It's crazy.
Everybody's so hypersensitive about this whole deal. It just it almost makes me want to throw up sometimes. Like looking at people on the TV and on the in the mainstream media, social media. I'm just like, okay, like which one is it? You gonna be a strong black, god, a strong black goddess, princess, queen, or are you gonna be, oh, he called me, oh, this, or he called me a name, and oh, and we're all, as black people, we're raised on, confidence and self and knowledge of self and this and this and that.
Right.
So it's just like, if somebody's calling you a name, does that make it so that you are that or what? It's like, I don't get it. It's like, and then you react towards that. I mean, then somebody told me, man, back when I was a kid, man, you let your emotions get to you when you're dealing with people calling you names and words and stuff. You just relinquish control over yourself, and now they have control over you.
Yeah.
It's like, and there's no control at all. It's just like a free for all now. Oh, they call me this, and oh, they call me that. Therefore, now I have to take everything they are down, cancel them, and block their accounts and do this and all that. And matter of fact, I don't want them to make any money either. I mean, look what they did to Kevin Hart for a tweet that happened like 15 years ago.
What was his tweet about? LGBT, some
anti. Yeah, it was. He was, how he used to talk about his son and stuff, in his stand up, So it was a tweet about that, like, hey, that's good, So and then that's what the tweet was about. So they dug that up, and then the man almost lost his career over that one tweet. He had to come out and bend the knee, just like you were saying, and subservientism and bow down to the woke mob, before he got canceled.
Who didn't do that? Which I give mad respect to Dave Chappelle.
Yep.
He refused, bro. He refused to, because listen, man, when it comes to comedy, it's open target. It's open season, man. Like you can make jokes about anything, man. You can. I've heard people make jokes like even like Paul Mooney, man. He'll make jokes about.
Oh man, yeah. Anything, and everything.
Think you can go too far with comedy. I don't like. It doesn't offend me if you make a joke about like slavery or the Holocaust or anything. You name it. I don't. It's like it could be funny depending on the context of it. It could be funny, man. Like you could do it. It's open season. It shouldn't be no, oh, I'm offended. You made a joke about, slavery or Jewish people, Holocaust. It's like, it's just a joke, man. Like try to find a humor in some of these things. It's not really insensitive. It's comedy, man. It's like at the end of the day, like that's what it's about. Just finding some truth in it and something to laugh about, about something that already happened, man. Like just leave it in the past. We can laugh about it now. But yeah, man, like Dave Chappelle, and I watched his special, and he pretty much dedicated one of his 3 specials that he got paid like millions, hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
On Netflix. He dedicated pretty much one of them to a woman, at least a good part of one of the shows, to a a woman who was I guess a dyke that he knew that wanted to be a comedian, and he was kind of dissing her.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was it was trans. The person was trans. I
Okay,
saw
that's
that
what
what he was talking about. Yeah, he was talking about the story on at his, I think it was his last the stand up he just did not too long ago.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, like, he was kind of making fun of how she wasn't that good of a comedian, but that she was brave and he gave her the opportunity. And, you know, he was just like, you know, he kind of like showed how he had support for her. And
Hmm.
at the same time, you know, people were still like coming out trying to go for his neck and cancel him. And Netflix had a whole like walkout where employees of Netflix walked out and like didn't work for like a whole day or some shit. I was like, what the hell? What is all this about? Like,
Wow.
yeah. But yeah, man, like I give it up to Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, he really did his thing. He really did his thing. I'm you know, well, I'm not surprised, but I'm happy he's still going strong. You know, he's one of the most consistent that we got left. You know.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. But so what do you think about this Jussie Smollett dude, man? Like,
Oh
let's talk
man,
about that. Do you know the
I
story?
knew. Yeah, I know the whole story. You know, and I knew it was BS from the moment that it dropped. I knew it was. You know, from the very start, I knew exactly that. I knew from the bro, just the story alone, bro, was outrageous. You know what I'm
What part of
saying?
the story did you think was funny? Like,
The funniest part was the polar vortex minus 15-degree weather with the white folks looking for black folks to throw bleach and nooses on at 3 o'clock in the morning. That was hilarious.
that was it, right? Yeah,
Right,
Dave
and then
Chappelle got on him really hard too on one of them specials. He was making a lot of fun of him.
man, yo, he made if there was one black person ever on this planet, or one person period, that ever on this planet that made a fool out of themselves, it was him.
Right, right.
I was just like, wow, he's really. I saw first thing I said was, wow, he's really gonna see this through. Wow, okay,
But why
wow.
you think he did it in the first place? What's his motivation behind it?
Well, on the surface was for notoriety. Now, if you go a little couple of layers down, you know, his auntie, you know, he's related to Kamala Harris. It's his aunt. Now, Kamala Harris and what's the other guy's name? Spartacus. What was his name? Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's the black dude that was running for president, the bald guy. I forget his name.
Oh, Booker, something Booker.
Cory Booker. Cory Booker.
He's horrible, man. That
Yeah,
dude.
him. Kamala Harris and Cory Booker were. So you remember shortly after Juicy did that whole little thing, they all of a sudden came out with that lynching bill. Remember when that lynching bill came like simultaneously, right as Juicy was getting all of his 15 minutes of fame and all of that. And so, and in the same time that that was happening, both Cory and Kamala were running for president. Remember that?
Hmm.
So
I
they were
remember
doing
that,
it. They were. She
you
was.
know that out here, like they've tried to fact check that relation with Kamala Harris and Smollett. I don't think they found any evidence of that.
Oh
Just
no,
too
there's
much.
evidence. There's
I
evidence.
just
I have pictures. I have pictures of their whole family together. There's evidence. There's evidence everywhere. They just try to do that so to just discourage you from going to look. See, and that's
hmm.
the whole thing. People need to start going to look for things themselves. See, I'm you know, I'm an inquisitive person, especially coming up out of that cult and all of that stuff has made me even more inquisitive. You know,
Right,
coming up
right.
into my age now, you know, I question everything. And you know, especially what's on this TV because I mean, what is it? It's tell live vision. They put it there right in front of you to lie right in front of you. I mean, look, what does Hollywood do? They lie for a living. You think you can actually believe them? You can actually believe what's on the news? I mean, you can flip the channel and look and see Spider-Man swinging in the freaking buildings in New York. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it's like it's crazy. Like I don't know why
So
people are.
so
You
so
have
so so why like what's the reason? Like he specifically chose to make it about MAGA in a time right before the election.
right before the elections when the Trumpsters and all those people on the right and Republicans and all that conservatives and all that were already had already been vilified and demonized for 4 years straight during Trump's whole campaign. I mean, it was an onslaught of different, I mean, races and
Yeah.
xenophobes and all of this stuff just thrown out. And I mean, it was just crazy. I mean, how hard
it was a little too much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it went way south. I mean, they literally had riots and everything. I remember when Trump won the presidency, there was some guy out in New York that set himself on fire in protest in front of Trump Tower.
Oh, snap.
You know, and
What?
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, literally, you can look it up. And I promise, like, you know, if anybody was smart or any logical thinking person in their brain would think, even if they weren't into politics or weren't Trump supporters or anything, should thank them.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
him for exposing all of these insane, crazy people out here. Now you
I
know
love
who's
it.
crazy and who's
I
not.
love it.
Now you
I
know
mean,
who's. I mean,
look what they did in New York with Mayor de Blasio, man. He painted Black Lives Matter in front of Trump
on the
Towers.
street. I mean,
Crazy.
can you
And
fathom
with
the
Al
insanity?
Sharpton, and who was there? The biggest fucking
Right,
race
race pimp,
Al
race
Sharpton,
hustler
bro.
in the right.
Anytime I see Al Sharpton, I'm like, there's something going on. There's something fucking going on here behind the scenes.
Oh yeah,
that dude is like a damn plant or something. It's like,
man,
put in these situations.
he's like the weasel that comes up from a magical trap door every time there's
He
a
always
catastrophe.
comes up. Like you don't know how many times I'm like searching for about something that's dealing with racism, and he just fucking comes up, and it's like, yo, here he is again. He's always
He's
in the
been going
mix.
hard. He's been going hard since the late '80s, early '90s, man, with that race stuff, man.
What was that story that he had faked? Because he had a fake Juicy Smollett racism story with
Oh yeah,
a
him and
in
where
Buffalo.
the girl had some girl that he was affiliated with had did the same thing, claimed that she was hurt or something or raped or something like that, and it was all a lie. It all
Yeah,
came out, the facts came out, and it was all a lie. You know, and that's like the number one golden question that I want black folks to ask themselves, like really and sincerely be really earnest with yourself. If there was really a problem with racism, a real pandemic of racism out there, if there was like white folks mowing down black folks, white folks waking up, boy, I can't wait to kill me a black person today. If that was
right,
really happening, why would they have to lie about it? Why would they have to
right.
fake all these
Yeah,
hoaxes, all these? Why would they have to fake it if they're happening everywhere, all over the country, all over the planet? Why would they have to fake? Why is it that every time you look for a race or hate crime, it's always fake?
yeah. It's usually fake. You can find some instances because, listen, man, racism is out there. We know that
It's
it's
out
there.
there, yeah.
It's
It
in small.
exists.
It's in small pockets of our country. If you go to damn
Exactly.
like the hick towns of Florida and Alabama and Georgia, yeah, you're gonna find some dumb,
It's
uneducated. And
isolated.
it's always some. It always deals with being uneducated, and I think that's
Right.
the same thing on the other side with the anti-racism movement. Look at where some of these places, the first riots started happening at. It's where you find a
Yep.
lot of uneducated fucking black people.
Yep.
Ferguson, um,
Yep.
Baltimore. Baltimore is like, man, the illiteracy rate in Baltimore is like 41% of students from like 8th grade to high school to like 12th grade or whatever. I think even before 8th grade, I think like 6th grade, they're failing. They have like a F grade. They're averaging like a F grade, which is crazy. Like, how are you
Yeah.
averaging an F?
Well, that's what they want to do. They
41%.
want to keep us. They want to keep us stupid. I mean, and that's the real grand scheme of things, is to keep us
And they
stupid.
can't complain in Baltimore because the
Yeah.
schools, some of these schools that are failing the kids, they spent a lot of money on education. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not the money. It's not because
But
they're gonna blame it on, oh, it's a lack of resources. They always
no,
use
because
the word.
there's money. There's
Yeah.
money that's just not allocating it to the right places, and
Mhm.
it's like you gotta think, like, again, where are all these places that you named? Are where they're all in blue cities, districts, and counties.
Mm.
They're all run by Democrats.
Right. Yeah. You're
Sometimes
right.
black folks, if nobody has really paid attention to
Yeah.
to a lot of these Negroes in Congress and in power, so quote unquote, you know, they're all Democrats. If you
Look at
ever paid
Baltimore,
attention.
Detroit, St. Louis. Like these cities have had black mayors. Chicago. These cities have had
California got Maxine Waters, and look at her district, and she don't even live in
yo,
her district.
Maxine Waters is dumb, man.
Yeah,
She's so
yeah,
dumb. I don't know how she didn't get fined or some type of, something against what she was trying to pretty much incite riots
incite
ahead of
riots
the George
outside when
Floyd.
she was on that right when she was on
Yeah,
that soapbox standing outside talking about draw a crowd.
ahead of the George Floyd verdict before anything even happened, which is like that's kind of like now you're trying to manipulate a verdict. Like if you don't get a certain verdict, you telling people that they should riot. Like, and
Yeah,
she's
and
in
that's
the
exactly what they did.
that shit's crazy, bro. I mean, they were rioting
Hmm.
before anything. It's like you can't even wait for due process anymore. It's like you
Right.
got the mob mentality out here. Just, I mean, this is
Yep.
exactly what a herd mentality is, or what's
Yeah.
called group. You ever heard of group think? Like
Groupthink. Yep.
this is another thing. We looked up the definition of grandstanding. Now this goes right in line with it. There's a definition in psychology for group think. I'm gonna just read this real quick. It says groupthink, mode of thinking in which individual members of small cohesive groups tend to accept a viewpoint or conclusion that represents a perceived group census, whether or not the group members believe it to be valid, correct, or optimal. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, man.
Here's
That's
another definition. I like this one even better here. Groupthink is a phenomenon that occurs when a group of well-intentioned people make irrational or non-optimal decisions spurred by the urge to conform or the belief that dissent is impossible. That's crazy. Like you can't dissent, you can't have an opposite opinion because think
nope.
about it. If you say that you don't support BLM just because of what the name means, Black Lives Matter, people are going to assume that you don't think Black Lives Matter. Just because you don't
Right,
support the group.
because of the connotation that they put on it, you know.
Right.
I
So these
mean,
people have well intentions, but they're just trying to just conform. They have this urge to just conform because they think that if they dissent or if they don't agree, that they're going to be looked at like negatively. So people just kind
yeah,
of go with
public
it. So,
opinion. It's the court of public opinion, man.
so this is like social, engineering. This is like it seems like a psychological operation, bro. It's like
Oh yeah,
control over people.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
bro. So going back to this Jussie Smollett thing, man. So what do you think? What should be his sentence? Because like I mean, this is probably not going to be like he's probably not going to serve time. I don't think he deserves to serve time. I mean, maybe not. Maybe not
Well,
that
you
much.
got I kind of beg to differ. I kind of beg to differ
Okay.
because first off, this was premeditated. So this is already
Yeah.
conspiracy. He conspired this whole plan
Right.
to on a group of people that have not harmed a hair on his head.
Right.
What
right.
did they? And I ask people all the time for such vitriol and such hate. What did they do to you as an individual to where you have so much hate for a group of people you don't even know? I mean, answer me this: where are all the instances where conservatives and Trump supporters burned down houses and looted whole malls and where are these? Where are they? Where this just in? Trump supporter shoots up mall and robs the whole mall. This just in. Trump supporter. Where are they? They're always of the same type of person. They're always from Antifa. They're leftists or some BLM person or some type of something predicated on some type of negativity.
Well,
You know what
they
I'm
like to
saying?
bring up the January 6th Capitol insurrection,
Well,
which is, was a small riot where 2 people died, and one of the people that died was actually a woman that was on the side of the, that was like a far, extreme QAnon crowd.
yeah, and the second guy died a couple of days after of something totally unrelated, but they like to conflate it because he was there.
Oh,
And
they're
so
trying to bring up that number even more because You know how
Yeah.
cops are real are like cops commit suicide. It's like suicide is really high amongst cops and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So some of those like two people that were or two cops that were in that riot or whatever that were trying to help and protect the Capitol later on committed suicide, and they're trying to bring that number up of the casualties by throwing in these guys' suicides as if it had
This
something
is
to do with
ridiculous.
that. And now they
And
because
and and
somebody had threw that on and said, "Oh, it was actually 4 casualties because 2 of the guys that were there committed suicide." Like
and
what?
see,
Like
here's my thing. Here's the questions that I ask on these big events.
yeah,
Okay, if there are if there are deaths, where's the obituaries? Where are the funerals? Where are the autopsies? Where are those?
hmm,
Where are these things? These are the questions I ask. Where are the proof? Where's the proof of death? Don't just give me a name and say he died. Don't just where's the proof? Because
right.
again, we were all during the pertaining to the January 6th thing, we were all watching a screen. Nobody was there.
Hmm.
And there's always two sides to a story. There's always more than one side of a story. So it's up to you if you care about learning the truth, or do you want to just go on this emotional, journey with the whole, groupthink thing, or do you want to, it's like, choose your destiny type of thing,
So with
so I
Jussie Smollett, so I mean, going back to that, because yeah, January 6th, like we know that's the one event they're still talking about that. But
yeah,
yeah,
and it's
like that's not a common thing. You don't really see these conservatives acting up or like that's why that whole story from Jussie Smollett seems crazy. But
it was
um
it was outlandish even for that time.
yeah, but like my thing is why he maybe should serve some time is because of the fact that he's still trying to make it seem like it was real. He's not even sorry about any of this stuff
No,
going
he's not.
back.
He's not. He's gonna die on that hill. He's
And
gonna
it's
die on
like
that hill. I mean, the
what if
proof. There's paper trails.
they would have arrested some white guys behind that? He would have continued because he's
Oh,
saying he's trying to throw his own friends under the bus.
under the bus,
The
right? The Sendero
Nigerians.
brothers.
So what would they have done? What would he have done to people if they
Listen,
would have caught them from white guys
as
that were
as
innocent?
as
And
high as the tension
they would have
was,
served mad time. They would have served a
as
bunch
high
of
as the tension was around this thing and around the time of when Trump was in office, as high as tensions were, he would have Juicy was going to incite a planetary race riot because they were with him in Europe, they were with him in Africa, they were with him all over the planet for this Juicy Smollett thing. Oh, Trump supporters and white,
there
pretty
was a
much quote
lesbian
unquote white folks.
that one Ellen Page chick who she actually changed her sex to she's a man now. Her name is Elliot Page. You know, the actress from Juno. She
Okay, yeah.
she was up on the Stephen Colbert show one of them days, crying, she blaming it on Mike Pence and Donald Trump because Mike Pence was like he spoke against gay marriage back in like the 90s. So they
Yeah,
were trying to throw him under the bus for that when he became, when he was going for vice president and all of that. They were constantly bringing that up because, he's
right,
really religious, man. It's like, that's how
right,
they
right.
are. And it's like, he's changed his views. A lot of people, you can go back on my Facebook and probably pull up a bunch of crazy stuff, man.
Yours
But
and
people,
mine.
yeah, people change their views, man. So she was trying to say like, this is all connected to Mike Pence and Donald Trump. That's what they were
Right.
trying to do from the beginning. Connect that incident.
Bro,
You're
they
trying to
were
throw
trying, they
dirt.
had been, they had a hard on to get that whole Trump administration out of there since day one. Day one, you remember, if you go back to 2016, day one, they were already filing for articles of impeachment already on day one.
Hmm.
Already on day one of his inauguration. Not only that, did they tried to shame him by posting that empty lot of when he was inaugurated by saying nobody showed up, which was it was in fact an older it was a picture earlier that day of them setting up, and somebody just took a aerial view of it and just posted it online, making it true. I mean, and when if everybody goes back to when Trump coined the term fake news, These people were, it was fake all along. It had been fake. I mean, how many people believe that Trump was a Russian agent and all that stuff? And it came down to it, and it was all a lie. It was to get you on board to believe the lie that they were propagating.
And going to that Russia thing, man. Yo, they found nothing on that, bro. They were saying that there was a P tape. They were saying all types of crazy stuff, man.
And the crazy thing about it was everything that they projected onto Trump that they were doing, that they had said that what he was doing, they were doing it. The very thing.
Doing it. Look at Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden.
Hunter Biden had the Burisma deal, and come on, man. I mean, it was right.
They got evidence of that, bro.
Right. It was Hillary Clinton. It was Hillary Clinton who sold off 25% of our country's yellow cake uranium to Russia. And you know who handed the package off? It was freaking Robert Mueller, who was the head of the Russian investigation.
Wow, that's crazy. And they found nothing.
Bro,
they
found zero.
Like MSNBC and Rachel Maddow. Yo, Rachel Maddow is a joke now. That's the lesbian chick that runs that. She pretty much had like the hottest show on MSNBC at the time, and she died on that hill, bro. She kept that was her main show. Like her show pretty much became the Russia collusion show. That's what it was, bro. Like that's all she spoke about. And then nothing came out of it, bro. She was on that for a year and a half.
Yep, they all got rich. They all got rich off Trump. They all got rich off of Trump. Let's just be real.
Crazy, bro. They were shitting on
now that he's gone.
Why after a while, like I was, you remember me at that time, like early in like 2019, I was on the Bernie train. If you remember, remember we were going.
You were a big Bernie bro.
I was on it, man. And you know why? In defense of myself at the time, because like coming out of the cult, going into the secular beliefs and like atheism, you kind of, for whatever reason, just fall in line with this liberal movement. I don't know why it's so hard amongst atheists and non-believers and agnostics. It's like they just all
because because they don't believe in something, but they're made to believe in that. It's like a false sense of reality. So it's like I don't want to believe in this, but I'm still a part of this.
You don't have a religion. You don't have a religion, so this becomes your religion now.
Yeah, well, that's just how socialism is. Your religion is now. Look at communist China. Their religion is the government.
Wow,
that's exactly what communism, socialism is. Your religion is the government.
Wow,
you see what they're doing. You see what they're doing to Christians over there in China. They're killing them. They got them in concentration camps over there. People don't even know that.
That's right. Feel the burn.
Man.
So we got into it. We were talking about online one time, because I was like studying, this whole socialist, pretty much trying to. My main thing was wanting to socialize medicine, not so much the education. I thought that was a little impossible, but I was on this because I'm in the medical field, so I see what happens to certain people, especially if they change jobs, or if they quit one job, now they don't have healthcare. So I was like, man, what could solve that if we just get healthcare through the government? So I started to play with that idea. I thought it was a good idea initially, and then I started, talking to people like you, and start to research the opposite. Just looking at the opposite idea, the opposite belief. What does the opposition say? What are the arguments against this? Does it make sense? And it took a while. It took some time, but I gotta say, just right around the time when Biden started taking over and other people started dropping out of the election, and it was just like Bernie and Biden, and Warren and Elizabeth Warren, and then I started listening to Nina Turner, who's Bernie Sanders' running mate. And I was like, yo, this woman is insane. Her anti-racism rants is what pretty much turned me off to that whole thing, because I was already seeing the bullshit with BLM. BLM had them took over one of Bernie's one of his like protest one of his rallies.
I saw that. Like
in like somewhere in Seattle or Portland, one of them crazy ass liberal places. You know, they pretty much, it was two women. They pretty much was yelling and they were saying, we are reasonable, some crazy shit like that. Like, how are you screaming in somebody's face and you're reasonable? And you're literally in somebody's face screaming, taking over their rally, grabbing the mic. And it's like, if you knew anything about Bernie and his movement, you would know that this guy is actually a guy that you want to be, you know, voting with, whatever, because he's on that dumb shit. You know, he just falls for that whole movement. So, but yeah, it was really his running mate, Nina Turner, who's a black, I don't know, congresswoman or something. She's already in politics, but her rants, like her talking points, is critical race theory 101, bro.
Yo, that's what it is. That's what it is. Who can be the biggest? Who can be the trick is who can be the biggest apologist to my feelings? Who can really grab my feelings, you know, the best. It's all an emotional circle jerk is what it is to me. That's really what it is. It's really what it amounts to. Who can give you the most feels? You know, let me put the worst type of image up so that I can grab you by the emotions and drag you. You know what I'm saying? Like through the mud, through everything. I mean, I look at the imagery that they showed us in the last 4 to 5 years. You know, I mean, they just keep putting this fake stuff up every time and time again. Fake.
What's another fake one? Bubba Wallace.
The Bubba Wallace thing with the pull down handle that he told everybody was a noose that was going to wrap around his little pencil neck, I guess, apparently. due to how big the noose was. The noose was like a shoelace that was tied up above a garage door to use to pull the garage door down. Now, how are you going to hang on this thing when that door comes down? It just was the whole thing was just asinine, like to where this stuff is making national news.
First of all, it's a garage that you're using as a visitor. It's not his garage, right? So you don't know how it is usually. You don't know how you know how it always looks. So you just come in and thinking, oh snap. So he doesn't sound too smart anyway. But
no.
Now on top of that, what else was it? I mean, just how many times have you seen a garage door with a rope tied to it or something that you can pull? So
even the mechanical ones still have that.
The door goes up too high, you know, you can't grab it, and you need something hanging down from it so you can pull it because it'll go up too high. And you can't grab the metal door or whatever. And it's like, bro, this is not hard to figure out, man. I had a friend of mine that sent me that, you know, talking about see, you know, because it's like NASCAR and that's like a white guy's thing. So,
right.
So what was
saying racism is everywhere.
Even recently, ESPN did like a whole special on that. And you remember how they all rallied behind him and all the cars was driving around
everybody did this made this whole spectacle. I remember that.
Wow, man, that was crazy.
It's all a sideshow.
Yo, just last week, ESPN did a special. They still brought that up, and it's like, but this was all a hoax anyways. But they were talking about how, oh, look what they did. So it's like, but they all rallied behind him. Everybody was showing him love. So what are you talking about? Like everything is
really
cool.
They're trying to write reality. They're trying to warp reality, man. They're trying to change reality is what they're trying to do. You know, because have you ever met somebody that, I mean, whatever you see on that boob tube is whatever is real? Well, you know, you come with some type of different type of information. Well, the news didn't say it, so it can't be real. It's people out there that, you know, that really go by that. You know, whatever the news say is fine. I mean, I know a lot of people, you know, preferably our elders, whatever the news say, they're gonna believe whatever they say.
Man. I had to have like an hour conversation with my grandmother. She's like 86 now, so I'm like, I can't do too much with her. She's at where she's at. She ain't gonna change too much. But she was talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, and she was like, "Oh, look at what he did! I can't believe he killed those people like that." And I was like, "Listen, Mama." I was like, you know, I call her my mom. Like, listen, you know, have you ever met my grandmother?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember you came to my crib. Yeah, she's the sweetest lady, man. She's just, you know, she don't she hears about death and somebody killing somebody. She don't like that, so she just thinks it's bad. But she don't realize this is self-defense. She didn't really understand it. So I broke it down for her. I'm like, listen, this kid was out there doing good things. I showed her a picture of Kyle Rittenhouse cleaning graffiti, doing certain things the day before or earlier the day. And I was like, this kid is not what they're making it seem. I was like, be very careful with what you see on MSNBC, because that's what she watches at CNN.
Oh,
she
gosh.
just keeps it on those channels. And I'm like, okay, she doesn't like Fox News. There's not really many choices out here besides Fox News if you want to get some type of normal reporting, because they've actually been pretty good. They've actually been pretty normal. If you look at how they report stuff recently, it's like, damn, they're looking a lot better nowadays. These other networks look crazy.
I can tell you they're all the same pretty much. Fox News is still, they're owned by the Koch brothers. They're the guys that own Fox News, their dad was conservative, but after he died, that's when Fox News started to change. That's when you got Wallace and all those people that are in there now. But they're all the same. They're all liberal media. The thing is, Fox sticks out now because they have some conservative shows on there. So they stick out as being conservative because they have Hannity and Tucker Carlson and all the and all the Maria Bartiromo and all those people. So they have those few people, but it's still a liberal. It's still liberal media. It's still mainstream media. They're all still. See now, Hannity and Tucker, they can all go on for so much on those shows. They can tell you so much. This is why they all have podcasts, so they can have unfiltered talks and stuff. So they say things that they couldn't normally say in front of a camera. This is why they all have podcasts now.
Right. Well, I saw one recently that I was like, okay, at least they're trying to, put these people to the, hold their feet under the fire. Because all right, Hawk Newsom, you know who that is?
Yeah.
Hawk Newsom. He's the leader of BLM for New York City, New York.
Yeah, the black dude.
Yeah, the big black dude that wears I don't know what he wears, like a Wakanda chain, all the place, everywhere he goes. But yeah, so this cat recently had a meeting with the mayor of New York City, the new black mayor, Stacey Adams, I think his name is. And they wanted to talk about policing in the city and what we're gonna do with policing. And this mayor, who sounds pretty good, I kind of like him. He definitely sounds better than De Blasio.
Right.
He is talking about stopping the violence, So he wants to bring back this particular anti-crime unit back into the city, which I actually have a friend in New York City who's a part of that unit. He's actually like,
oh, really?
They put him out there every time there's protests and stuff, and there's some type of unrest in the city. He's out there on the front line. He tells me this. I haven't spoke to him in a minute. I would love to get him on. That's my boy, man. But yeah, I known him since I was like 7 years old, bro. I known him for years. And this is my guy, bro. We grew up in the same hood around blacks, Hispanics. He's a white dude. He's Irish, but he's like us, bro. He's like us.
Right. Right.
He joined the force when he was like in his early 30s or late 20s, And he's a good dude, man. And he tells me all the time, ever since when these riots was going on, especially after Eric Gardner or whatever. Eric Gardner, yeah, the dude that got choked out in Staten Island or whatever.
Right.
He was telling me, he's like, yo, he said, I'll be out in the streets in the protests, man. I'm just, standing there while motherfuckers is just yelling and screaming in my face and all this shit, And it's like, yo, it's kind of hard, to kind of feel like some type of pride in your job when you got people, constantly calling.
I saw it, man. They were getting jacked up out there, man. People throwing water at them and all type of stuff, man. I saw the videos. It was crazy.
But this dude Hawk Newsom, pretty much, he was out there in front of the cameras saying. First, he had the meeting with Stacey Adams, and then he got outside and he was in front of the cameras, and he was saying that he said there will be bloodshed. If you bring this thing back out, if you bring this crime unit back out, there will be bloodshed, there will be riots, and there will be violence, pretty much inciting violence. This is a terrorist organization, man. This is a domestic terrorist group. But Fox News recently had him on their show, and they pressed him, and he was talking all this crazy stuff. He's like, free Larry Hoover, he said at the end of the whole thing. He's just talking crazy. It's like Larry Hoover was a damn gang member. Like they be damn trying to idolize people that kill cops like Assata Shakur. They love doing shit like that, bro.
Yeah, and if you notice, if I told people just all the time, if you notice, like the people that are there, I'm gonna just say people that they're sacrificing in the media, they're all known criminals. They're all known criminals. That even with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, where they were saying that all the people that he killed, he killed these people. It was, and mind you, the two white people that Kyle killed, not black people, like the media is telling you. So let's just stop with the Kyle is racist type of thing. Oh, he went out killing niggas. Oh, no, he did not, because he didn't kill no white people. The two white people that he did kill. One of them was had just got out of the crazy house for sodomizing like 12 kids.
Oh man, that's Joseph Rosenbaum.
Rosenbaum, yeah.
Yeah, he was crazy. He was insane.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on. And he was out there, he got him on camera saying, "Shoot me, nigga, shoot me, nigga."
Yeah.
This is the white boy. This is a white boy. So, we're talking about old little racist 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse was so terrible for killing two imaginary black folks.
That was the one kid that Joseph Rosenbaum couldn't lay a finger on right there.
Yep. Imagine that. It's almost poetic. It was nuts.
That. Yeah, I mean, listen, I have no remorse for that Joseph Rosenbaum. I didn't even mention this in my videos that I did on Kyle Rittenhouse, but Joseph Rosenbaum got so close to taking Kyle Rittenhouse's gun that he actually grabbed the barrel and
he grabbed it. Yeah.
He burned his hand. So there's evidence that he was right there trying to grab the gun. So, I mean, they had so many views, and the FBI had a drone video.
They had drone footage that showed everything in HD footage.
That was so clear on that all this time. That didn't deserve to go to trial. Like,
nope. That was an opening. That was the open shut case, man.
And I mentioned this in my first video, which I did a live where I spoke about Jacob Blake and Kyle Rittenhouse. I mentioned that he would probably get a fine or do community service for having a gun while he was underage. And that was the one thing where I think that maybe, that's where he kind of got away. He slipped through the cracks because of that one law that, if you have a rifle and you're under 17, you're 16 or 17, that you're good as long as it's short barrel and that you have it for the purpose of hunting. So that was where it was mixed up, because at the same time you don't need a hunting license. So it's like, how do you prove that? The prosecution was horrible. They couldn't do anything. They made a lot of mistakes, and the judge was constantly getting on them to the point where people thought the judge was being biased. But
I mean, they were asking this kid questions about Call of Duty in a court of law.
Yeah, and they were violating his Fifth Amendment rights too.
Exactly.
Asking him, well, why didn't you? It's like, this is his Fifth Amendment rights. You can't question him on that. But they were saying that the judge was biased. They say, oh, he had a ringtone of the song "God Bless America." He's biased. Like, what? The judge was a Democrat. Like,
no, yeah. Well, see, the thing is that they're trying to demonize the law and turn to lawlessness. I mean, if you look at it from a base perspective, they've been trying tooth and nail to take away our rights, mainly the Second Amendment. And it's not because of the right to bear and keep and bear arms. It's because of the second part of that amendment, which is to seize your government if the government is proven to be unlawful. Now that's the one that's what they're afraid of the people revolting all the way back. They're scared of another 1776 is what they're really scared of. It's really what it boils down to it. And they see it. They saw it with Trump. When Trump came in there, they saw it. They saw their lives flash before their eyes. Everything that they've been working towards, everything that these, if you want to call them deep staters or whatever you want to call them, everybody has their name for them. But this 1%, this less than 1% of these people, they saw their lives flashing before their eyes, and this is why they went tooth and nail, relentlessly stuffing at the Trump propaganda down your throat for every single day with something new, a new scandal or something they dug up and found or something. Left and right, every single day was some new scandal or something. And all the while, it was them.
Comment here, man. My bad. This damn stupid ass comment. But yeah, you could go ahead. My bad.
What does it say?
NYPD doesn't fight against organized crime; they manage it.
And where's the proof of that?
Biggest gang in the city. When I hear somebody talk about cops or police force like they're a gang, this LAPD is the biggest gang. These people, they got that mentality, bro. They in that mentality.
Yeah, for the colony, though. Yeah,
they call police the modern day slave, slave catchers.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, the people that commit crime in New York City. You can
I was gonna say they call them modern day slave catchers. Well, you're you're a modern day crime committer. Stop doing the crime and you won't get arrested. I mean, if you look at the people who they're arresting, you're calling them slaves, then you're a slave to crime.
Right. Look at Alex is on right now. He said, "Oh, so y'all live and shit."
Yo.
Yes, sir. What's good, Alex, man? You my brother, bro. I gotta just share. You don't gotta come on. Nobody gotta come on, but I'm gonna share this just so y'all want to come on. I think me and Fly Guy been talking long enough. If anybody else wants to join, y'all welcome. We just talking whatever. But yeah, man. My bad. I had cut you off there, but
I know you good.
We always have good conversations every time we talk. Last time we chilled, we was pretty much stuck in the corner there. We was chilling, talking about, because listen, I had a new found respect for Trump because I was shitting on Trump hard, and with all his flaws, I came to accept, and really appreciate what he was saying because he was on point, man. They kept trying to trick him into, answering certain questions about, they asked him, I put it on my last video. I did a video on black and black crime. And they had asked him one time, they said, why are black people still dying at the hands of police, bro?
That's just nuts. That's a gaslight question.
That's a crazy ass question, bro. It's like, why are black people still dying? Like, you wanted him to say, because sometimes they deserve to die. They
right. That was in their fantasy. In this fantasy, that's what they wanted him to say.
Yeah, but I think he responded pretty good because it's not like it's just black people dying. You see how they only care about black people dying?
It's convenient for them to care only about black people dying, only to support their agenda at the time.
But his response was good. He said, white people are dying too. And he said more white people die, which is true. If you look at the numbers, more white people die every year at the hands of police because there's more white people. Yes. So the thing is, people don't know that because they only show when it's a black person that gets shot or dies. So
exactly,
they don't know that the numbers
and per capita, per capita by the numbers, blacks commit most of the crime in the country. I mean, by the numbers. Well, I mean, if we're gonna talk numbers. Not by your feelings and not by your opinions, by the numbers, blacks commit most of the crime in the country, period.
Right. So that's why disproportionately, if you factor in the population, yes, black people, the number of black people dying at the hands of police, yes, it's higher than it should be because the crime is way higher than it should be. That's why. Brooklyn
exactly.
Brooklyn Outlaw on this live stream. What's good, bro?
Yeah, it was good.
Chilling, bro.
Yo.
What's good, everybody? Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Everybody's great, man. Feeling nutritious as always, man.
You enjoying talking about
politics and shit. That's not
man. We vibing, man. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So yeah, you enjoying the conversation?
Yeah. I'm talking about different topics and shit. Some things I'm involved with it. Some things I don't know too much about, but I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Okay,
right.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
man. Yeah, man. So yeah, what do you think about what we're talking about, man? You think that there's a lot of gaslighting going on with racism? We know that it still exists out there, but do you think it's being overhyped? Like, is it still a big problem? Is it holding us back? Is it holding Black people and Hispanic back? Or what's the deal with all this? What do you think?
Man, look, all I think is this. I would say, yeah, there is a lot of like you say, gaslighting. There's a lot of that shit, but I don't really think this shit is trying to hold you back. You know what I'm saying? I just think
Yeah,
it's a
only
mentality,
if you
bro.
let it.
Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a mentality. If you let that shit hold you back, then it's gonna keep holding you back. It's like you always bringing up slavery. I get it, but yo, it's time to move forward, bro. For
It's
all of us.
2021, bro. Like
Yeah, I mean, I
our
understand.
forefathers fought for all of that. We don't gotta. We shouldn't have to fight for it no more. We should already have proclaimed it already that we have it.
Yeah,
All these rights we have are God given rights. So I mean, why are we still? What are we still fighting for? I saw somebody talking about we're fighting for women's rights. I was like, what?
yeah. I
Okay,
don't know about all that shit. They going somewhere else with that. Cause then
yeah. I mean,
That's over the top too. Like I was talking about that earlier, that feminism, the original feminism movement in the 60s and 70s, it benefited women. They got in the workplace, and it's like there might have been some struggles to fight through, like, but the main battle was won. So now
yeah,
it's like we move forward and naturally let things just happen naturally now.
yeah,
Now
man.
it's not, you can't force. It's like they're trying to force and engineer a certain, society,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
certain culture out here.
They want
yeah,
And it's
everybody
like,
let me bring
hypersensitive
this
to
up. I don't know.
words.
yeah,
I don't know if y'all familiar with this. Y'all heard about this Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez thing? The shooting,
Mm-mm,
supposedly.
yeah,
mm-mm.
Supposedly he shot her in the feet, whatever, whatever. When it first happened, when they called the police, she had told the police she had cut herself with glass. She didn't say nothing about a shooting. Then later on, when it came out, like, yo, why you saying it now? Like, she was like, I was trying to protect him because he's a black man, he's a king, and you know how
Oh
police are
my
with us,
God.
bro. Listen, she said this is what I'm saying, but it's looking like all of this shit was a lie. It's looking like her homegirl shot her, and she lied on Tory to get her homegirl out of trouble. So all this shit you were saying about him being a black
Wow.
man and the cops are known to kill black people, yo, if you thinking like that, you put him in a situation where they almost could have killed him, and he
yeah,
had nothing to do with it.
Wow.
If it's true, what they're saying is, I don't know if it's true, but they're saying that it looks like her homegirl did it, and then she blamed Tory to try to keep her homegirl from getting in trouble. Because
wow,
at first it was glass only, and then all of a sudden he did it.
wow.
You know what I'm
Wow.
saying?
She almost
That's
got
what
a
it's
black
looking
man
like.
hung.
Yeah, and the way she was saying, like, yo, you know how they are towards us, so I was protecting him. But if what's true now, well, what it looks like that you lied the whole time to keep your homegirl from getting in trouble and to put him in trouble. Whoa, for you to say that is crazy.
Man. Hey, these rich people out here gotta stop this lying shit, man. Y'all too rich to be lying, man. This is crazy. Y'all lie too freaking much to have all that money.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
crazy.
seriously, like seriously?
Niggas think they can buy the truth. Whatever
So
the
so
truth
that,
is, whether it's a lie or not,
they were talking
put them.
a lot of that feminism talk behind that, protect black
Yeah,
women.
Yeah,
because he's a man and she's a woman. Yeah, it's just give me a break, man. When does it end? It's like when does it end? You
yeah.
know,
Yeah, man, that's crazy. But yeah,
I was
that
watching
story. I remember that story.
I forgot who it was,
mm-mm-mm.
some comedian. I think it was Bill Burr. He was saying that a man should make $1 more than a woman. He goes, you know why? Because when this boat is going down, it's women and children first. When there's
Yep,
terrorists, they say let the women and children go. He like,
go
nigga,
for
I
right.
think we deserve the $1 more an hour. That's what it's for.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, they get free damn entry into clubs, happy hour. They get all this crazy shit. all this special treatment. I mean, it's even a fact, like in the UK, and I think even here in this country, that when you look at men and women that work in the same field, that women are dominating and getting paid slightly more than men.
Bro, it's a fact. It's a fact.
Yeah.
And mainly black women. In the last 10 years, I looked at the chart myself. Black women in the last 10 years have excelled in everything, bro. They get the most.
Yeah,
they get the most. They get the most diplomas. They graduate the most in colleges now. They're getting the best job. Bro, come on, man. It's like what? It's like, what are you fighting for? Women's rights. I was like, okay, you got every right in the world to do anything you've ever wanted to be. You can do anything.
This new feminism movement, it's just there's nothing else to fight for, so they have to create a fake enemy, and it's like that's where the problem comes in, is because now you just reaching, and it's like it's the boogeyman. This is not a problem. This is my same issue with the anti-racism movement in BLM.
It's
like
crazy that you say
creating a problem now that's not there.
When you say this is the boogeyman, what's funny is that if you've seen the new Halloween movie, there was a issue because he killed 2 gay people in the movie. Yo, Michael Myers is killing everybody, bro. It doesn't matter if you're gay or not.
It don't matter. I mean, come on, man.
A movie. They were complaining about a movie because he killed 2 gay characters.
So you see how they have more rights now? They have more rights now because everybody else is getting killed. Now it's like that's how I look at it with that question. Why are black people still dying? Now you're saying black people should never get killed by cops. Then there's no reason. Ridiculous. There's no reason to kill a black person. Why? Because they deserve better treatment. They're kings and queens. They got melanin.
Right.
All of that shit, man. You hear that all of the damn time. That melanin talk, that shit is everywhere, bro. They talk about melanin all over the goddamn place. Like
it's like the Negro halo.
Holy shit.
Melanin. It's my melanin is queen of melanin, king of the melanated melanins. You know, give me a break, bro. It's like, come on, bro. It's like, my thing is like, you know, it's like the pot calling the kettle black. It's like, you know, you want Black Lives Matter and all this. Well, why isn't anybody gathered over there at the Planned Parenthood huts, all up in the hoods? Why isn't everybody over there? If you Black Lives Matter, that's where all blacks is getting killed, right there in the clinics.
Shit. What about Philadelphia?
That's where they're getting killed.
Philadelphia, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's where they are. This is what it ain't, and it's in every hood, in every city, in every state. Every hood got a Planned Parenthood.
Right.
You wanna pick a problem with the establishment? Pick that one. Pick that fight.
Right. Yeah. You're right, bro.
Yeah, but there's money to be made, bro. Wherever there's money to be made, there's not gonna be no fight.
Yeah. Yeah, Margaret Sanger said the very same thing, man. We got to get rid of all the niggers. We got to get rid of all of them, and this is what we got to do.
Wow.
And this is where the Planned Parenthood thing came out. I mean, it's nobody. It's like we're pointing the gun. They're pointing our gun in our hand. We have the gun in our hand, and they're moving our arms to where we need to point to. It's just like, it's crazy, you know.
Yeah. They're telling us what to be focused on
and mad over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things that don't directly affect us, like Juicy Smollett's lying ass, like that does not directly affect me at all.
Kyle Rittenhouse,
that does not directly affect me at all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
that's story. How did that become the trial of the century? I mean, at most, you had a misdemeanor. At most, that's
at most.
That one. And it's like,
I'll tell you what I was more focused on. I was more focused on during all of this stuff. I was more focused on the $500 billion that Ice Cube and Lil Wayne had went up to the White House to reserve for all urban communities in the country. That's what I was focused on, the Platinum Plan. That's what I was waiting on. But when I've been
liking Ice Cube a lot more recently. Yeah.
Man, and they demonized him and Lil Wayne, calling them house niggas and Sambos and all types of stuff, sellouts and all of this, and all they were trying to do was help the community.
because they wasn't going along with everybody else. That's why.
Right, right, because they wasn't like F Trump.
Yeah, because Ice Cube wanted to have a meeting with Trump, and they were trying to get on him for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was trying to.
trying
He wanted
to.
to
They
have a
did.
meeting.
They did.
He wanted to have a meeting with both sides. Biden
Yeah.
said, "We'll meet with you after we win the election." So basically, what you got to say don't mean nothing to me. We'll talk
Until
to
I
you
win.
later. Yeah, and then when he won, he ain't talked to Q. You have seen nothing's happened.
Right.
Nothing. Nothing. Matter of fact, they did away with the platinum plan when Biden came in. They erased it. So no black folks money. So no urban money, no urban community money, no none of that. So you wanted the Black Lives Matter? Well, they don't matter anymore since Biden got in.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking about a guy who literally eulogized Richard Byrd's funeral. Robert Byrd. He's the Grand Cyclops of the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh,
He's the Grand Cyclops. God damn.
He's the Grand. That's his title. He's the Grand High Cyclops of the Ku Klux Klan. When you see Ku Klux Klan in the dictionary, it's him. It's his face. He literally eulogized his funeral. This is Hillary Clinton's mentor, Robert Byrd. This is who she said on stage was her mentor. These are Democrats, people. These are Democrats we're talking about. You want to know during slavery, during the abolition of slavery, you want to know the score was 40. It was 49-0. There were no Democrats that voted for it to abolish slavery. None. There was zero. There was zero.
Wow.
The very name before the Democrats became the Democrats was the KKK.
Wow.
And people and black folks love to subscribe to the Democrat Party for why, I don't know. If you go back in history and you look it up, they were calling the Republican Party the Negro Party because that's where all the blacks were. They were in the Republican Party. They
were the ones that abolished slavery.
Come on, bro. Not to mention the countless white folks that were slaughtered because of it, because they was helping us out back then. But yet we still hate white people for what? I don't know. I mean, come on, man.
Right.
Harriet Tubman, Republican. Frederick Douglass, Republican. George Washington Carver, Republican. They were all Republicans.
Right. What's his name? Biden. I forgot the name of his friend, man. He had like a political mentor pretty much who was a damn racist, man. He was a straight racist. I forget his name.
Who, Biden?
Yeah, I forget the friend's name. But, you know, he was part of that whole movement of, what's it called? The Dixiecrats. You know, the Dixiecrats were a great racist movement.
Yeah, they were racist, but the Democrats like to say that about the big flip and all. They like to mention the big flip with the Dixiecrats, and they like to say that those were the, you know, they try to flip everything of their history. They're trying to flip to give people that false sense of who they really are. I mean, it's crazy. You know, this is why they were trying to destroy all their Confederate statues, because in the future they're going to try to rewrite history with all of this facade they got going on, telling people that the Democrats are the saviors and all that. So this is why they're trying to get people to destroy the statues, because then that deletes their history.
Yeah, they want the Democrats to look like some type of fucking saviors.
Yeah.
Oh, Strom Thurmond. That's the guy's
name.
That's him. He spoke at his Joe Biden spoke at his memorial service. That's what it was. That's crazy.
And it kills me how people don't look this stuff up. Like I don't know what it is. They're so magnetized and gravitated towards the F Trump stuff that they fail to even see the real stuff that's been going on. You know, the Hunter Biden laptops and the Hillary Clinton laptops and the emails and all this stuff, the Epstein Black Book and all those people that are on there. Wait till that stuff hits the scene.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Wait till
nobody's even talking about
Ghislaine Maxwell. Nobody's even talking about that and how they're fighting for their lives right now to keep those people from getting on the stand. They're trying to get them up there unanimously instead of putting them on camera. That's what they're fighting for now. They're fighting for their lives, because I don't know if anybody, all the listeners out there that are listening to this, go look at that Black Book Epstein's flight log list. Go look at that list. This man, he recorded every single, he documented every person coming in and out of that island, getting on and off that Lolita Express, the Lolita Express. Look at all the names on there. We're talking about, I mean, and some of the realities of some of you are going to be crushed. I'm telling you right now, that veil is going to be lifted real soon. You got Beyonce, you got Chris Tucker, you got the Obamas, you got all the Clintons. I mean, you got everybody who's who, Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith. They're all on there.
Regular.
Yeah. I think they said on there, it says on there, I think he flew like 24 times.
Yeah. He was a regular.
You know, and that's what they're literally fighting for their lives. And when it does, I'm gonna say when it does, when the truth comes out with this Ghislaine Maxwell stuff, it's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap. All your favorite rappers, all your favorite singers and actresses, they're done.
I mean, he was
because they've all been a part of this. They're all a part of this stuff.
Epstein was in business with Bill Gates. He was in business with Harvey Weinstein, and I think even Jay-Z was on that list too.
Oh yeah. Oh, him and Beyonce was on that list, and Bill Gates was on that list. Oh yeah, they've all been on there. They're all on that list.
Wow.
So I mean, it's gonna be. Didn't
Tazdakia's lawyer was connected to that dude?
Yeah, that's right. What was his lawyer's name?
Wow.
Damn, forget his lawyer's name. But yeah, he was connected to that dude in the Miami case, because or the West Palm Beach case. Epstein was pretty much first tried in West Palm Beach in damn, I forgot the name of that town, but that's where everything started. Back in 2010 or something like that, 2011. And he was having the police chief come over. He had a bunch of people, and that's when him and Trump were friends. And then Epstein came over to Trump's Mar-a-Lago thing, and he had harassed a young girl, and then that's when they pretty much parted ways, because the dude was there pretty much harassing a young worker. And,
yeah, well, he was actually trying to recruit this 14-year-old girl who was the daughter of a staffer that was at Mar-a-Lago at the time. And it caught wind back to him about it, and he went and confronted Epstein about it, and disbanded him he barred him from the whole estate. He can't come there ever again. You know, so I mean, that's another lie. That's another lie dispelled. Yeah, and they say that he flew the plane. Oh, he flew the plane. Yeah, he flew. No, he didn't fly the plane. He flew his brother. He flew Epstein's brother's jet from Florida to New York because his plane was being serviced at the time. So he couldn't use his plane. So he hopped on a plane with him. He didn't go to Lolita. He didn't go to the Lolita Express to the Pedo Island. He went back home.
Right, and so a lot of people that Epstein did business with, they probably was just business partners anyways. Like Bill Gates. Bill Gates did business with Epstein. There wasn't so much hanging out and shit like that. I know they had some business in New York, and there were other people also connected. And it's like a dude was a businessman.
Right. Epstein, I mean, these are all billionaires. Of course, you're gonna all see them together. They're all billionaires. They're all. I mean, who are you gonna? Come on, they're not gonna hang out with us for beer and cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? Come on, they're hanging around people with the same stature as they are. Of course, you're going to see Trump with thousands of those people. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, there's pictures out there of literally Hunter Biden with a literal crack pipe, literally a crack pipe sticking out of his mouth. There's pictures of him with little girls, the laptop that they seized from him. Oh gosh, it's riddled with pedophilia. Him taking a shower with some little Asian girl. It's all types of crazy stuff on that laptop that's out there. That's open source for you to go look at with your own two eyes. So it's just, man,
that's
they've been trying tooth and nail to take this guy. I mean, could you imagine how minuscule our lives are to the government if they can go and take down the president of the United States, no matter who it is? if they can go in and take him down off of, take his social media down, take his businesses down, to ostracize his family. I mean, how big do you think we are in their eyes? We're like little specks in the dust. People, I mean, people don't really realize that, man. I don't see how it's just not like right there, right out there in your face now. I mean, Biden said the other day, well, he said the day before yesterday, he said, "What's this about all your freedoms? Come on, man. What's this about all your freedom?" Like, what are you talking? What?
And even Biden, with all his craziness, he doesn't even want to defund the police. You know, I want to kind of address. I want to go back to that because this dude, you know, I got comments. I want to address some of these comments just to keep it, you know, into the conversation. Skeptical Mantis, Channel 10, he's been a subscriber, I think, for a while. He says NYPD is already the biggest department in the world. Maybe police isn't the answer. Well, what would be the answer then? I mean,
what is? Who are you going to call when you get your house kicked in? Because they are doing that in New York now. They're kicking in doors now.
The NYPD is the biggest department because New York City, there's a lot of people in New York City. It's overcrowded. Yeah. So it makes sense. That's common sense. In a city like Philadelphia, you have way more murders in Philadelphia, which is 7 times less the population of New York City. And what did they do recently since George Soros pretty much funded the new DA since last year? They defunded the police. They took the police out of these neighborhoods. And now you have more shootings. Same thing happened in Seattle. Same thing happened.
What did they think was going to happen?
Yeah, the police are definitely necessary. Police don't do anything. I mean, is this a troll? I don't. This is like, man. I mean, this mentality is poison right now in the community. It's like this vilifying of the police. All cops are bastards. This ACAB hashtag, it's a little crazy, man. It's just nuts. My friend
and
had
then when you get robbed or shot in the ass or something, then what? Then who you gonna call then?
Yeah,
the Ghostbusters don't exist.
And what city is your friend in here? He says my friend had a break-in the other day. Police came 2 hours later and didn't do anything. I mean, listen.
Well, if you stop trying to defund them, maybe they would get there a little faster.
Yeah, and you stop vilifying them because what happened in Baltimore, this is in New York City, okay? So you have a break-in, right? Is this is not an emergency now. The people that broke in are gone. So, okay, they came 2 hours later. I don't know how true your story is, but going off of what you're saying, this is not an emergency where you still have somebody that's going to kill you there, or, you know, they're not in the house still. What do you expect them to do also? What do you mean they didn't do anything? Do you expect them to damn time travel and, you know, or read somebody's mind?
Right. What do you want them to get your stuff back? I mean, okay, they have to do an investigation.
Yeah, you get a description of the guy and you got to leave. That's it. What do you expect them to do? Take you to go out on a mission?
And even then, and bro, even then, that costs money to do. You got to pay these people to do all of this stuff. You're talking about defunding police. What are you going to allocate the money towards? What? Social workers? Okay. So let's just like even further disrespect the government by people that you don't want over your house, like, you know, people that you don't want over your house coming and knock on your door to see who's in your house and see what's going on, see if if there's any problems. What do you expect? Everybody's got these like
way too much from the government. These people expect way too much from the government and from the police in the first place, you know? Well, not the police. The police do their job, but like the government, like you expect them to do. You have these high and unreasonable expectations, but it's like you don't want them in your neighborhood.
And
police won't be there when you need them, but y'all don't want them in your neighborhood because you think like they're being racist or they're doing too much in the first.
You can't have your cake and eat it. You can't have your cake and eat it. You can't complain about the police not being there, but then complain about the police being there. It's like you got which one is it? You know what I'm saying? You got to choose one.
Weeks have passed and they didn't catch anybody. Yeah, that's what happens, bro. They don't catch people sometimes if there's no lead, especially.
This is the real world.
Yeah, you got people out here with masks. You know, like what do you expect them to do? Like, this ain't like the TV shows where they need to keep an interesting, juicy story going on and they always catch somebody at the end.
Right.
This is real life. Police usually don't catch people, you know, and especially in the hood where they don't want to snitch on nobody. That's the main
Right.
problem. Like in Philly,
Yep.
you have people that don't want to work with the police because they don't want to put another black man in jail.
In
That's what
jail.
even though the black man might be a murderer. And it's like, what the
Right.
hell? So you admit
This
police
is
can't catch the person who broke in. I don't see, this cat does not sound skeptical at all. I admit that police can't catch the person who broke in. I don't know the situation. I don't know the story that you're talking about. It depends on the circumstances. So in the particular situation that you're talking about, I don't know if the dude wore gloves, if they maybe have fingerprints, if they have a camera in the location, because sometimes they can follow
right.
closed caption
It's so
cameras
many.
and
It's
trace
so
it
many
back.
variables to. It's so many variables to every situation. This is why we leave it up to the experts to do their job. You know, I mean, sometimes it won't happen the way that you want it to. I mean, sometimes I feel like we watch too many dang movies and all of this stuff. Like that stuff only happens in the movies. You
Right.
might not get retribution. You might not get it. You might get it later on. It's just that's how things happen, bro. It's
Well,
like
He-
you
he's
know,
saying
we
police don't catch people, but they do catch people sometimes. There are many situations where the cases are solved. You have detectives that use forensic science, and in many situations you can. You had a
right.
situation in Detroit, I believe. Let me see here. But yeah, man. I mean, what do you think about this whole anti-police movement, man? Brooklyn
It's
outlaw,
it's
black guy.
it's crazy. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. It's like you want the police gone, but you don't want the police gone. I don't understand that one. I don't get it. It's like in the main places that they and I get people that complain about, oh, the police are always in the hood. The police are always in the hood. Well, why I mean, what do you think? I mean, where's all this stuff? Where's all the crime happening in the hoods? What do we always say when we see cops? Oh man, somebody effing off over there in the hood. Somebody got caught up in the hood. Like, come on, bro. But then you complain on the other side of your neck, man. They done took my dog to jail, dog. Man, Danny Crackers always, man. Man, come on, bro. Which one is it?
I'm gonna share my screen real quick. I don't know if you can see this, Skeptical Mantis, but I remember this story not too long ago. It says Detroit officers. This is on Fox. Detroit police officers rescue 4 kidnapped children after traffic stop. So some Detroit police.
Oh yeah, I
officers,
remember that.
yeah, they made a traffic stop. So do you think we shouldn't have cops making traffic stops? Who should do this? Citizens? Should citizens run their own investigations? Like,
right, citizens arrest and all that, man. You just gonna put yourself in the line of danger.
And this is just one story, man, that happened a few weeks
man.
ago.
I like to challenge. I like to challenge anybody talking about defunding the police to put on that bulletproof vest and that badge and that gun out there and go hit the beat street for one day and see how you like it. See how you want to defund the police. Who's gonna do that job? Because I know you're not gonna want to do it, bro.
Yeah, man. You got people out here protesting. They damn blocking traffic and all of this.
It's ridiculous.
For nothing, man. For nothing. Why does the US have the biggest prison population in the world, more than China? What is wrong with this country? Man,
because nobody's abiding by the law. That's what it is.
Yeah, we commit actually if you know what China does is they commit more they have more death sentences. Damn, like don't you hold on, man. This dude is talking craziness.
Why do they have so many people in population? It's like what?
Yeah, don't we have way more people in China? I mean, no, I think China has more people. But I mean, I gotta check those numbers anyways. But let me look up the death penalty numbers. China compared to.
Man, they'll take you and your family out for having a Bible in your house.
Yeah, but now he's talking about the prison system, which is not the same as the police force. Like, what are we talking about here? Like we going from one topic to the next. But okay, let's see here. Executions around the world. Yeah, so I mean, this is just one number here. NYPD doesn't want us to have gun rights to protect ourselves. China has way more people than the U.S. Yeah, so let me share my screen real quick. And NYC with the guns, it's a crazy city and it's really overpopulated. So I understand why they have more gun rights. You know, they have more when it comes to freaking having guns. It's more hectic. It's a more hectic city. So I don't know what you mean they don't want us to have gun rights to protect ourselves. But let me share the screen real quick, just so you can see what's going on in China and the death penalties around the world, just to show you what the legal system is doing. This is executions around the world, death penalty information system. I don't know if y'all can see this. Let me see if I can zoom in more. It says country, China, over 1,000. You don't even have it was like 2,000, I believe. This is the death penalty, people that are killed. That's probably why they don't have so many prisoners, because they killing the majority of these cats.
Yeah.
Look where the United States is at, 22.
That's why we have so many. That's why we have so many prisoners in our prison system, because we're just that lenient of a country.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of crazy ass people. The crime in this country is not like the crime in the United States. Let's keep it real. The culture in this country is not the same as the culture in China.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not. Look at the music we listen to, talking about killing our own folks. You want to know why we killing our own folks? Because we singing about it.
Yeah.
We sing about it.
Look at Philadelphia, man. You have 500 murders in Philadelphia. And another thing about China is that their whole legal system is completely different in China.
Right. The CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, that's a communist state, bro. The government is your god. That's it.
People don't want to commit crimes in China. They're scared to commit
they
crimes.
will die.
Yeah,
they will get killed. They will be killed.
It's a whole different attitude. Also, you're guilty until proven innocent in China. Did you know that?
That's it.
Skeptical Mantis, that's another thing that makes people not want to commit crimes. Because in the United States, you're innocent until proven guilty. In China, you have to prove your innocence. So people don't commit crimes because you're going to be looked at as you're guilty already. So there's less.
And usually you're dead. When you're guilty and proving it. Good job. Good luck trying to prove that you're innocent. You're dead already, bro.
Let me see. Now he's talking about gun issues. We went from the police to the prison system to China. So the U.S. has over 2 million people in prison. Are you telling me that China executes so many people and that's why they have less people in prison? No, I just gave you an example of the whole system and how they work from innocent, guilty until proven innocent, and how you have a whole different culture in this country where they feel like, they could do whatever. People do whatever the hell they want in this country, man. People feel like they could get away with murder, literally. So we already
literally can.
So I'm not saying that they execute so many people and that's why they don't have so many people in prison, but they do execute a large percent of their population, of their prison population, when compared to places like the United States. The reason why you probably have more people in more prisoners in the United States is because of the crime culture. You don't have that in China.
Yeah.
You have a whole different culture. I see about 2,400 executions in China per year. All right. So, we just went over that, now he wants to talk about.
Man, sometimes a lot of their stuff ain't even recorded. Sometimes they'll kill you right there on site, man.
Right.
They'll kill you right there in the street. They'll kill you right there in the street and go find your family and go finish the whole thing off. That's just how communist states work. People don't, I mean, you have to really grasp that concept, yo. That's how it works. That's the system there.
Yeah, so we have almost 2 times the prison population as China. We got about 2 million people. Let me share my screen real quick. It's not that big of a difference, man. I guess when you control for the population, it might be, but when you look at the culture, that might explain, what you're so confused about. I mean, it's really not that hard. I mean, this is not a difficult topic here. It's not that controversial. Prison population in the United States, about 2 million people. And then China, 1,600,000. You know, they're almost there. They're about the same. Now let's just look
and
at
that's
the
just what they and again, that's just what they've recorded, because you know China likes to cover their stuff up a lot.
Right. So population is 1.4 billion. I think we have 3 billion people, bro, in the United States. Oh no, 325 million. My bad. So we have 325 million people. I thought we have more, but okay. So yeah, they got a bunch of people in China, you know. But like I said, that culture in China is completely different from the United States. We grow up, you know, completely different here. You look at how we act and how we, you know, it's just everything, bro. And even when
The
you look
culture
at
is totally different.
And the guns too. We have way more guns in this country. We have 3 times more guns in this country than there are people.
Yep.
Guns. Let me see.
It's like 700. It's like something like 700 million or something like that guns, or something like 7 billion guns, or some crazy number like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep sharing the screen actually. Let me share it real quick. Yeah, we have way more guns out here. The Small Arms Survey stated that the United States civilian alone account for 393 million.
Yeah, 300. Yeah, that's okay.
Of the worldwide total civilians. This amounts to 120.5 firearms for every 100 residents. So there's way more guns than residents in this country. So we have a
why do you? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, now you got to really, after hearing that, now you have to wonder. Now it puts into perspective why the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, why all these gun grab campaigns. You know, they're trying to take your guns away because they are fearing for their lives after doing all this tyrannical BS that they're doing. I mean, how's your gas doing? You know, how's your gas doing? You know, and you could easily, like, people don't even know. Like, there was a story about this. I don't know what nationality she was, but she was Eastern. She was Middle Eastern, somewhere around there. Anyway, she had a YouTube channel. She had a YouTube channel, and they had shut down her YouTube channel, and she was just doing little crazy visits, you know, just a little regular stuff. Anyway, they shut her YouTube page down. This lady drove up to YouTube in California, Silicon Valley, drove up there and opened fire on that whole office in YouTube. She went to YouTube. This is what they're afraid of. This is why they're trying to shut your speech down and shut your guns down, shut all that down.
And just real quick, Skeptical Mantis, since you're so much for gun rights, China is not even on the list of guns per capita. They're not even, I don't see them at all on this list of the 100 countries. I mean, where are they at?
Australia isn't either, and look how bad Australia is doing now.
China's
Venezuela isn't.
New York's United States is #1, but yet you're complaining about New York City, one city. The good thing about this country is that you don't have to live in New York City. You can leave. You can go to Florida if you want gun rights. Go to Texas. Go to damn Louisiana. You know, Florida is I like Florida, man. I've been living here for a while. I grew up in New York City. I was born and raised there. I didn't see a gun problem in New York City really in the 90s and in the early 2000s when I was.
That's because y'all had Mayor what's his name out there in the 90s. I keep forgetting his name. You know, the guy who took down the mob. Giuliani,
yeah. Skeptical Mantis, you have the right to come on this live because you're just asking too many questions, and we're going from one topic to another. You know, I mean, we're talking about guns. New York City is a heavily populated city. You know, it is really complex when you start talking about guns in a city like that. You know, now you said gun crime was way higher in the 90s, Miguel. What are you trying to say? Like, I don't understand this guy's point at all, right? Like, what is his point? Like, this is supposed to be like a Trump or something? Like, what are you saying? I don't understand what point you're trying to make at all. You're the one trying to say that first you spoke about the prison population. And we were talking about police in New York City and the prison population. Then we went to China with the prison population, a whole different country. Then we were talking about guns in New York City and gun rights. Now we talking about what? What are we talking about, man? crime was way higher in the 90s, Miguel, compared to now. Yeah, crime spiked all throughout the United States. In 1993, there was a big spike from early 1990s to 1993. And then there's been a drop. There's been nothing but a drop in crime up until 2019, 2020. I don't know what the hell happened in this country, you know, right around the time when people started rioting like damn crazy, you know.
Crazy people, man.
And now he's saying he's talking about white people. White people have most of the guns legally. Why aren't police afraid of them? So let's talk about this, because I did a channel about black on black crime. I don't know if you saw it. So white people have most of the guns legally. Yes, white people make up 60% of the population to 70% of the population, depending on how you want to categorize white people, because sometimes Hispanics are Hispanic is an ethnicity, not a race. Amongst Hispanics, you have black and white. So you have more white Hispanics, and sometimes they're thrown in there. And even if you throw the white Hispanics in there with the white population, you still have less gun violence than you have amongst the black community. So let me ask you a question. Why do white people, which you say have more guns legally, why do they commit less gun violence, way more less gun violence than black people, when black people are 13% of the population and they have about 6,200 murders amongst 12,400 murders that happened in 2019, and we want to use those numbers. And when you throw in the 1,000 white Hispanics or 1,000 gun violence crimes from Hispanics into the white population, it's 4,000 homicides amongst white people, and they're 5 times more than black people in this country. But yet they commit 2,000 less murders per in that year than black people, and that's not even factoring in the population disparity. Now, if you factor in the population disparity, black people are committing homicides at like 4 or 5 times the rate as white people, because whites haven't had generational poverty imposed on them by the government. The government imposed it? That doesn't make any sense, man. Like, how did the government impose this? Let's look at how many poor people. There are 10 times more poor white people in this country than there are poor black people.
Exactly.
Let's look it up. Below the poverty line, if we want to say poverty rate by ethnicity. See if we can look it up. I don't know if we're going to get those numbers because I had to do math to figure this out. But yeah, here we go. We're going to have to look at the population of black people and white people in this country. I actually got the numbers in a text. I actually saved it. Population of black people in the U.S. All right. So let's do the math. Do you believe racism ever existed in the U.S.? Yes, it didn't, and it didn't end. And he said, "Do you believe racism ever exists in the U.S.? If so, when did it end?" It didn't end, and yes, there has been, and there still is. But we're talking about poverty, right? So poverty, we have in the United States, 9% of white people are in poverty, and 21% of black people are in poverty. I don't know if you can see this. Let me zoom in. Zoom in more. All right, so 9% of white people are in poverty, 21% of black people are in poverty. So 21%. This is the population of black people. We need to find out of this population of black people, how many of these people by number are in poverty, which is below the poverty line, is what it's saying. That factors out to about 2,340,000 black people.
And see, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Miguel. Let me stop you right here for just a second.
Let me just do this real quick. So
okay, because I'm reading these comics.
That's 20% factors to 2 million, right? So now let's do white people's poverty. The population of white people is way more than black people, 236. And remember, 9% of that is in poverty. 9% of 236 million is 23 million, which is 10 times more than the 2 million black people that are in poverty. So how come, Skeptical Mantis, if poverty is the problem, how come white people are still committing so much less gun violence than black people, even though the poverty rates show that white people are 10 times more in poverty? There's 10 times more in the population that are in poverty. So this shows you, or it should show you at least, that poverty is not the only is not the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not the only problem. There's something else going on in the black community.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be the culture? Jesus Christ, like this, I already went over this in my last video.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about. The victimhood, this victim mentality stuff. Even poor white people are treated better, more access to welfare and resources. Well, come on, give me a break. How much are you gonna be sucking on the government's teat till you want to get back on your feet? Come on, it's like seriously. That's what I mean. Back in the 60s. Back in the 60s, the nuclear family in the black community, we were based off the premise. It was rooted and grounded in us to be a family, to be one unit, bro. It was rooted and grounded in us to be strong and not this weak little beta mentality that people are propagating. It's ridiculous, man. It's like I keep going, like I keep saying, either you're gonna be strong or you're gonna be weak. It's either one. You can't have both. You cannot pull strength out of weakness.
Let me show you an example, Skeptical Mantis, because you sound like you've been brainwashed by these liberal talking points about poverty. I just shut down your entire poverty talking point. I've been researching this already, man. Haven't you watched my videos? I've been shut that down. I spoke about this already. So I'm glad you brought this out. But Booker T. Washington was a man that was born in 1856 during slavery. This man was born during slavery. He came out as triumphant, man, as an educator. He learned how to read on his own. There's no excuses about the government didn't do this and the government didn't do that.
Yeah.
You do something for yourself. Maybe that's the problem in the black community. Maybe they're depending on the government too much to come and save them. You know,
exactly.
Like Booker T. Washington was born in slavery, man, and he overcame all that bullshit. These people weren't born in slavery today. These people that are shooting up Chicago and Philadelphia weren't born. There's no direct connection or trauma, you know, from slavery. This man was literally born as a slave. They freed him. And by the way, his slave masters were crying when they had to free him because they loved this dude. And he cried too because they actually treated him really good, is what he said.
With respect, yeah. With respect.
Yeah, they were like, yo, they actually treated me with some respect. He learned how to read while he was a slave. He learned late, and he kind of had to do most of it on his own because by the time he was released, you know, he wasn't that great, but he had some type of education. But the point is that he had direct connection to slavery, you know, and it didn't seem to have affected him, you know, as much as you want to make it seem like it's affecting black people today, you know?
And it's like, how is it affecting black people? I mean, we got affirmative action, which is that's really a non-issue. I mean, right. And it's really like, I mean, dude, I'm pretty sure this person, if they're a black person, I'm pretty sure they got to go to work tomorrow morning. If there was racism, if there was all of this stuff about, you wouldn't have no job because niggas can't work. We got to till the ground. You know what I'm saying? If there was racism, there wouldn't be black actors, black millionaires, black billionaires. There wouldn't be a Kanye West. There wouldn't be a Dr. Dre. There wouldn't be, if there was racism still, wouldn't be none of this. You know, I saw on CNN, what's his name? Don Lemon and Morgan Freeman were on there. He was doing an interview with Morgan Freeman. Freeman, because he brought up, you know, why do you think there's so much racism in the country? This is like in the heart of Trump era, you know. Yeah, so he's like, oh, why is there so much racism? Hey, tell us why you think there's so much racism in. And Morgan Freeman told him, he said, well, I think the reason that there's so much racism in the country is because you and I, he was like, because we keep talking about it. If you keep making a non-issue an issue, it's going to become an issue. You talk about something so much, you're gonna bring it into fruition. You know, you're scared of you keep talking about how the big bad white man cracker this, cracker that, police this, bad, da, 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 da. It's gonna become part of your reality. It's gonna become part of your reality.
He's talking about Marcus Garvey, man. Listen, Marcus Garvey had the same ideas as the KKK. He wanted to separate black people. He wanted separation. He wasn't talking like W.E.B. Du Bois. W.E.B. Du Bois wanted integration. He believed that we can excel, that black people can excel in the same community as white people, in the same place.
Right.
The problem is that the government started to target black people and started to say, well, we can help you out. You can do this and you can do that. In New York City, bro, if you know anything about New York City, you know that black people and Hispanics, you know, alike in New York City become a part of the government for the rest of their lives. They want to live in public housing. They don't want to leave that $500 rent and that little freaking apartment in the roach-infested housing projects, bro, because they get comfortable. And what do they start doing? They'll quit their job, or they'll only work part-time so that way their income could show less, you know, so they don't get kicked out. And then they'll start moving people in, you know, that make all this money or whatever and won't tell nobody. So they got to try to get some extra money, and they themselves will never excel or become a homeowner because they want housing. That's
get this. Problem. They called that back in slavery times, they called that what? They called that an indentured servant who didn't want to leave the plantation. He wanted to stay there with the master because he didn't want to deviate from the social norm that he didn't want to deviate from that 3 hots in the cot every day. He didn't want to he didn't want to stop that from coming. He didn't want to work on his own. He wanted the master to take care of him.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. And little do people understand what government actually is. Government. What is the government? The government is us. We the people are the government. Everything you pay in taxes pays for all of this stuff. All of this government assistance and all of this. All of your tax dollars pay for that. So you're saying that you want all your money allocated towards taking care of somebody else, so another grown person. That's what you're saying, skeptical person.
Right.
That's what you're saying. You want
Marcus Garvey wanted to get black people to leave this country and like go to Africa and all of that. So he had these wild ideas, man. And the way that Marcus Garvey was similar to the KKK was the fact that he wanted to live in a separate society. He didn't think that blacks and white people can live, you know, together, integrated.
No,
that's how they're similar. You know, that's what I mentioned. I'm not talking about the violence.
And Malcolm X, all he kept telling you about was the white liberals.
Right.
All he kept telling you about was these white liberals telling you, no, you don't have to go over there. Stay over here on the plantation.
Right. And
he was the one telling you about that.
Marcus Garvey was arrested, I believe, because he was trying to ship some illegal stuff from that Black Star line. There was some, it was like he didn't do it legally. I gotta look that up more, but I believe it was mail fraud or something like that. So I mean, he was released. It wasn't. I mean, I don't know why we talking about Marcus Garvey, but yeah.
Because those are the two people that everybody has on their wall.
But I think Marcus Garvey. They love talking about Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X. Garvey.
Everybody loves talking. We like talking about Malcolm X, like LeBron James talked about Malcolm X, right? After he read that front cover of that book.
Right. He was reading a book in front of the damn reporters one time, trying to show off that he could read and shit. But it's like, man, Malcolm X at the end of his life, he was talking completely different from how he was talking. Nobody talked about that. And nobody.
That's why they wanted to kick him out of the nation. They wanted to kick him out of the nation because he had deviated from the destroy all white people narrative.
But yeah, Marcus Garvey had a meeting with the KKK, man. That angered a lot of people. He was actually meeting with the KKK. Why did he do that? I mean, like,
to talk terms. If I get control over niggas, you got to do this for me.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. I could care less about KKK. I mean, about Marcus Garvey. I like W.E.B. Du Bois more. I think if black people would have listened to that dude at that time more, I think they would have ended up a lot better than they ended up in this country. But the problem was that they was attracted to radical thinking, like Marcus
Yeah.
Garvey and Malcolm X, and that's like that never helps our people, man. The Black
Yeah,
Hebrew
well,
Israelites talk just like that. That stuff don't help
yeah,
us out.
we were sensationalized back in the 30s and the 40s with all the war and all that stuff going on, and then we was trying to be free and all that stuff. So we back then we were trying to do everything we could to get people out of our face, and we
Right,
were willing
right.
to do anything for it. And that was, I think, that was like the main thing. Like we were willing to do anything for it, and I was just like not willing to do anything for it.
Right.
For something that
Yeah.
I'm already given already. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Right, man. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro. It's crazy.
I just think, like to me, it's just like I don't know, man. Maybe it's just to me. I just in 2021, the FlyGuyLocs in 2021 is really just tired of the racial semantics. It's just an act. To me, it's an act.
Yeah.
You know, it's an act. I mean, it's people out there that really want to rid white people of the planet. Like really, like that's just a fantasy.
Another thing, skeptical mantis that I wanna bring out. Du Bois was radical in some ways. Yeah, he was a socialist. You're right. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not applauding and backing everything that Du Bois did, but
comparing him to Marcus Garvey is what you were saying, though.
Yeah, man, like comparing him to his ideas as far as being in this country and integrating and being okay living amongst white people instead of trying to leave or trying to create your own society or whatever. I don't know what the hell Marcus Garvey. I mean, to tell you the truth, I know little about Marcus Garvey. I haven't studied him so much like I've studied other people. Like I've been listening to Booker T. Washington's autobiography. It's long as hell, but it's amazing to me. His beliefs and his attitude. That's the attitude that Black people need to adopt. Like his attitude was so great, man. It was like I look up to that, man. For a person that was born in slavery, what he did and his positivity, bro. He was so positive considering everything he was born into. But yeah, W.E.B. Du Bois was radical as hell with the socialist beliefs. He was crazy socialist.
Yeah,
so, yeah
they wanted to create a state within a state, and we see how that's gone with our country and with Vatican City and all those other states within the state. We see how that's going right now, and they're catching hell right now.
And let me say this real quick, skeptical mantis, about the poverty in the Black community. Black people spend a lot of money on shit that they do not need.
Don't need.
Black women spend crazy amounts of money on their hair. That's a fact. They've already tallied all this shit up.
I do hair, so I know.
Yo, that's one thing. That's just one thing right there. There's also the alcohol. Black men and Black people, period, spend a lot of money on alcohol, bro. This has been tallied up already. This is things that they do not need. People in the hood, to try to showcase their money and all this shit, they'll go out and get a damn Mercedes and try to make payments on a BMW and shit like that.
Right.
Living in the hood. Right. I know that you've seen that before, bro. I know that y'all seen that, and they can't afford it. They live beyond.
This is stuff these are things that we don't like to talk about. These are uncomfortable truths, is what they're called.
Yeah,
these are uncomfortable truths.
I actually want to bring that up real quick, but yeah, man, you know that happens, right? I mean, just the Black women with their hair, period. It's like that's not a necessity. And yet, Chris Rock did a whole documentary on that. My wife was
good hair
that recently, because my wife spent a lot of money on her hair too. If you got it, you could do it. But that a lot of these people don't got it, and they do it anyways. It'd be like $300 a pop. Bro.
No, listen, I've seen women. I've seen a woman drop 2 bands on hair in the shop. $2,000. It does not matter. As long as I look good, I don't care what the hell happens after that.
Right. Yeah, so you can't blame everything on the government and all of that shit. It's like, sometimes we got to take agency for the
ownership.
shit
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, you got to take some type of responsibility, some type of accountability, and that's the big problem in the Black community is there's a lack of accountability. Everybody wants to blame somebody else for why they're in the situation that they're in, why this happened, or why this it's the white man, or it's the government, or it's this person, or it's that person. Bruh, how about you putting yourself into that situation could have been prevented long before you got into the situation that you in.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. And I hope this dude hears me because that's what happens. And the credit scores in the Black and Hispanic community is way worse than in the credit score amongst white people, amongst Asians. What do you think about Asians, bro? Are Asians part of white supremacy? Because they've been killing it in the United States. Like
they're the highest earners in the country.
Bro, they be coders and all of that. That goes to show you that it goes deeper than how the country treats, whatever, all that bullshit. It's a culture, man. Asians have a certain culture of work ethic, and this shit is not being adopted. The Black community has largely adopted a culture of negative shit as if it's cool, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah, While we're out aspiring to be the next Michael Jordan, they got their kids in freaking law school and freaking finishing school and going to school to be PhDs and you know what I'm saying, stuff for making 6-7 figures a year type shit. While we're over here trying to strive for the next Jordans that's coming out next week. Come on, come on, bro. We got our priorities are totally.
Let me play this real quick.
$2 billion a year on Air Jordan.
Let me play this. Just like what you said, bro.
Wow, just as I said that. That's crazy.
Yeah, let me see if I can put the volume up on there. Where's the volume? Okay, here we go. Yeah, hold on. Let me play it.
Spend on average, Black people spend on average $2 billion a year on Air Jordan, $4 billion a year on liquor, $1 billion a year on fast food. You saw it just happen with Popeyes.
Fast food, yes. Bro. And then that also contributes to the health in the Black community.
Yep, the health.
Nobody likes to talk about the age median in the Black community. The age median in the Black community, the average age is mad low. So that also contributes to a lot of negativity, in the Black community, because as people age, they usually get, more money, better credit score, they turn more conservative pretty much. They have more conservative lifestyle. That's a fact. People turn conservatism leads to a happier lifestyle than this radical.
It does.
All this crazy beliefs that it's like all this victimhood is
I mean, they want you to kill your babies, and they want you to put on a dress, and they want you to kowtow to the race pimps, and they want you to it's
crazy shit.
Yeah, they want you to indoctrinate your kids. They want you to it's an all-out assault on your brain.
Pretty much, yeah. Let me finish this.
It's in the metal hours.
Yes.
And we weren't even paid for that. Black women spend almost $20 billion a year on hair care and beauty products. Wow. But yet, there's not a Black community in the United States I can go to where you can show me a Black community that has all 4 of the essential institutions, which are a bank, a school, a supermarket, a hospital. A bank to invest in the people, a supermarket to feed the people, a school to teach the people, and a hospital to save the people.
That's all I want.
Dang, boy. Dang. Dang.
Right.
Dang.
So who promotes the negative culture? You see how there's no agency and no responsibility? Aren't Black people promoting this? Yes, they might be getting paid and all that stuff, but they're promoting it. They're doing it on their own. They're selling drugs on there. They're promoting how cool it is to pimp women and sell drugs. Snoop Dogg out here walking around with Black women on leashes and all of that shit, man.
Bro, there's a literal song about a woman's midsection out there. There's literally a WAP song. Come on, man.
Like Black people don't own the media. Black people don't own anything, bro. Jay-Z and P. Diddy don't own shit. Oprah Winfrey don't own shit. Black people
right.
Own
Come
shit.
on now.
They complicit with all this shit. They go right with it. So yeah, the media. I mean, what are we talking about exactly? Entertainment. Like
exactly.
What exactly are they even promoting? I mean, when all this hip hop shit, rap culture in the '80s started coming out, especially the gang shit, the West Coast shit, there was people that were speaking against that shit. Nobody was with that shit. They've learned to accept it because it's become so much of the culture that if you don't accept it, it might look like you're not accepting black people. Like, there's a perception. What's that man that there's an actor that he pretty much was talking kind of like how Morgan Freeman was talking, how you were saying. What's that actor that he was with that Captain America? He's like Hawk or something. You know that black actor?
He was
he was 8 Mile.
Falcon.
Yeah, he was at 8 Mile.
Talking about Falcon. Yeah, I know you're talking about. I forget his name.
I'm gonna bring him up. He was talking about how there's a perception that people don't like to talk about. Anthony Mackie.
That's him. Yeah.
There's a perception of black men that people don't like to talk about, and it's not because they're just black. It's because there's a certain culture that you can see right away in the dress, in the attitude, in the talk, and you can see right away, oh, this is this type of person. It's not just this is a black person. This is this cultural type of person.
Right. This is a thug. This is a gangster. This is a,
Right.
This is one of those coolies.
Right. So I'm gonna see if I can bring that up real quick. Anthony Mackie.
Holiday savings are.
Let me see if I can bring that up. Yeah, so we're gonna share the screen real quick. I keep exiting out. I should just keep it up. But yeah, man, there's a negative culture that's part of the community, bro. And the media has to accept it, man. The Grammys and all this, they have to.
Well, the media is the people who propagate it, and we eat it up. They set the trap. We fall for it every time.
Yeah, but they know the reason why they know that they can propagate it is because they know that we're gonna fall for it.
For every single time.
So
because we have not.
Yeah, we have not.
Yeah, we failed to see the grander scheme of things, and they give us these little low bottom feeder scraps like racism for us to fight over while they're getting, while they're doing all the big stuff, above us and all of that, So it's how far is it going to go before we're just like enough is enough?
So I like this broken household. This brother talking about a broken household. That's part of the problem. Who created baby mamas and baby daddies? Who created that?
Right.
Oh, we do that shit.
The culture is my baby mama.
Yeah. It's like that shit is part of the community, man. That shit is all up in the community.
Yeah.
But what was he talking about, man? I wanted to go back to something that he says. Oh yeah. This is funny. Only one group of people has ever tried to rob me.
Thank you.
It's funny, bro. I got robbed before. Yep. It was somebody. It was a black person.
I got robbed too. In Atlanta, and it was black people.
It was black people. Yeah, man. I had a gun pointed in my head, bro.
Same thing.
That doesn't make me feel a sort of racism or negative towards black people. I know that it's not because he's black, but it's like, God damn, what's going on in the community? There's something that's gotten these people, man.
It's not the white man that's making you pick that gun up and put it in another black person's face and tell me, give me everything you got. It's not the white man that's doing that.
Right. Gangs existed way before gangster rap developed. Yeah, and I'm not saying they created it, but they made it cool.
We glorify it. I mean, look what they call me, Big Meech, Larry Hoover. Come on, bro. Let's stop playing the game, bro.
That mafia shit. But there was a kid up in Chicago, I believe, or Milwaukee or something like that, named Little Yummy, and they actually have a name for kids that now are like him, who are young and crazy and homicidal. This cat had like 10 bodies already, maybe more, and he was 11 years old. And Tupac actually got into something over that kid because this kid was killed by his own gang members because he was becoming too hot. Or it was probably some beef, he had killed somebody. I forgot what it was. But he was basically becoming too hot. And they killed this 11-year-old. And guess what? Tupac wanted to speak out against that. And they were telling Tupac, bro, you need to chill. Like, bro, you can't even speak out against it. There's so much pushback against that, We know that there's gangs, there's damn motorcycle gangs and all this shit. you know, Harley gangs, and, you know, white people are involved in gangs too, gangs in New York. We know that exists. There's the mafia. They had a lot of control over New York City for a long time, you know, but there's a lot of Italians out right now, and they're the ones that pushed against constantly showing Italians on TV to be mobsters. That's why you haven't seen a lot of the mob movies recently. They had to go to damn Boston to do that last mob movie with who was it, with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jack Nicholson, and that whole, you know, that movie. I forgot that movie.
Yeah.
But, you know, ever since there hasn't really been any mob movies like that anymore. I think The Irishman was probably one of the last ones, because Italians as a people got together and boycotted Hollywood. Now black people could do the same thing, bro. They could do the same thing, and some of them have. They don't want black people to be shown in a bad light. You know, some of these groups have tried, but there's a large push out here, and it's coming from the same community. It's coming from these same rappers, these young rappers out here that like to post about, they like to rap about drugs and all this crazy shit that have been dying. You know, they get involved in this culture. A lot of these young cats think it's cool. Yeah, but so it's become a problem. The gangs are a problem in the black community. Black middle class areas of Atlanta, DC, and Baltimore appear straight up ghetto. Yeah, man. Baltimore is horrible. Baltimore has a high illiteracy rate. And who's to blame for that? Because the schools are being funded, the teachers are there. You know, it's the parents that are not doing their job at home. We have to give it up to the people, the parents, the same people. We have to start taking blame. The moment I think there's more agency and more responsibility, the moment that starts to happen, I think that's going to start a dramatic change amongst the community. I think that people that talk like this cat is part of the problem right here. This cat is part of the problem right here, man. He looks at things like police as the problem. The government, you know, the government, yeah, these things, there's problems amongst these things. But come on, man, you're not going to tell me that there's a huge problem. You can't tell me that there's a huge problem amongst the black community when you have this many murders going on. We're talking about the murders. Now, that's a big crime. That's not just a regular crime like stealing or doing some damn Wall Street, you know, behind the scenes shit, which that's done. And it's largely white people that do the Wall Street crimes. I'll admit that, you know, because people like to bring that up. These crimes are more, they're like bigger, you know, there's a lot of money behind this shit. Yeah, there's a lot of money behind these crimes, and it's a few people that are doing it. It's a few number of people that are doing this in Wall Street behind the scenes. Okay, but then what about murders? How is that? He's making it seem, he was saying that the police target black people. What does it have to do with murders? Murders is not a crime that gets targeted like a traffic stop, or, you know, maybe you smoking drugs and you get caught because the police smell it because they're nearby. A murder is usually called in. That has nothing to do with being targeted. There's a victim and it gets called in. This is not targeting. This cat does not know anything about the real problems affecting the black community, man. I've been studying this hard for the last 2 years. I haven't really wanted to do any videos on this until I thought that I got a good understanding about it. And recently I felt like, okay, I could do it now. I think I understand what's going on in the black community. I think, all right, yeah, I think I'm part of the black community. A lot of people don't want to accept me, maybe because I'm Hispanic, but I think I'm right there, man. I'm part of the black community too. I'm part black. I'm about 20% African, man. Does that count? My wife is black. My kids are black. What do you want? I've been growing up amongst black people in NYC, in the hood. I know the black community. I know the culture. I know what's going on. I was influenced, highly influenced by hip hop culture. I understand, you know, the whole like 90s and 80s. I was seeing this with my eyes. I seen what happened. I seen the takeover of this black Hebrew Israelite shit. I was a part of that. I know what black nationalism is. I know how negative it is. I see what it could do, how it discourages people from participating in this country. It makes you hate this country, makes you hate the police. And now you have a negative attitude towards the police, and they're going to start developing that same negative attitude because they're going to feel it coming from you. And it doesn't end good. That's what happened to Sarah Bland. She had a damn negative ass attitude with the police. That thing didn't have to turn left like the way it did with Sarah Bland. And look what happened. She could have been cool. That traffic stop would have not ended up in her going to jail, and then she wouldn't have committed suicide up in jail. You know, people love to blame other people for that. It's like, when are we gonna take responsibility for the dumb shit that we do? But let me put it, play this video. Anthony Mackie talking about perception of black men and the culture and all this shit.
You know what, Rowena? You petitioned for custody.
The reason
One of her grandmothers.
Alex Sessions is black.
I think this chick started flirting with him.
Dreamy black. What's up, there we go. Wow, what you doing? Them ghetto Pilates? Dang, you in it, huh?
Wait, ghetto Pilates? Ghetto
I said,
Pilates?
Jaheim, you know. Say nothing about it.
Can y'all hear it?
Ghetto Pilates. You don't listen to
Where this interview's
Jaheim?
going
Oh,
right
come
now.
on, Jaheim. That's the hood Al Green. I love Jaheim.
I don't even want to talk about this now. I just want to let this go on forever. Okay.
Go ahead.
Speaking of hood,
Okay,
okay, I want to cut right to it,
Do it.
Anthony, because
Please.
you have one of the most cutting lines in this whole film, and I wrote it down so
Do
I can
it.
get it word for word. You're a goddamn cliche. You validate everything the white community thinks.
Right.
Wow.
And that line is the reason I did the movie.
Seriously.
100%.
Please expand. Tell
You
me
have two
this.
lines in this movie that are extremely important. You're a goddamn cliche. You validate what white people think. And it's not your first thought that makes you a racist. It's your second, your third, and your fourth. Those two lines, I feel, are the lines that everyone is stepping around and no one wants to talk about.
I want to talk about it.
And
Let's talk about it.
what frustrates me. We're in a position now in society, in this country, where no one wants to listen. The smartest person in a conversation is the person who listens. So when you talk about black or white, when you talk about race, when you talk about sexism, when you talk about homophobia, I think the most interesting perspective is to sit back and just let that person talk. Because there's nothing I can add to that perspective. And the great thing about this movie is you get the white perspective. You hear what he's thinking. You get the black perspective. You hear what she's thinking. Octavia's dealing with a drug-infected son. He's dealing with the loss of his wife and alcoholism. Those are two huge topics that are colliding with this little girl.
Right.
So, it's frustrating to me that people take race and they make it personal. You know what I mean? Like we're at a loss in this generation. If you look at it in the 80s, Archie Bunker was a stark racist. So if you don't know who Archie Bunker is, look him up. All in the Family, great show. The Jeffersons, stark racist. Fred Sanford, stark racist. But you know what black people and white people did? They laughed. You watch 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. Both of them hated each other because he was black and because he was white. You know what they did? They laughed. And right now, we are in a society where we can't have a conversation because no one's willing to listen.
People are just shouting.
People are just
Whatever they
shouting.
think.
People are walking down the street, hashtagging everything, but no one's listening. No one,
Interesting.
white people, I truly believe white people don't have an outlet to express or question their views on race.
Because black people get too defensive about it, or because
One,
it is personal to some
I don't-
people.
no,
I mean, it's a real thing.
It's very
Yeah.
personal. But the
Mhm.
reality is this: if you're ignorant about something and you can't ask me a question, so you're not ignorant, how do you get better?
Fair.
So if you come to me and you're yelling, "Oh, I hate black people because of A, B, C, and D," then you're ignorant. You're a fool. I can't talk to you. But if you come to me and say, "Look, like my friends do, look, you're a black dude. I feel like I can talk to you. So I don't understand A, B, C, and D."
Right.
And we have those conversations. We
Real
have
talk.
a glass of whiskey, and we have because I do the same thing about white people, Asian people, and Latino people. Look, I really don't understand
Right.
why.
And I think this
yeah.
film, it does a lot of, the whole issue of like, are we coddling these kids like Reggie in the film who,
Right.
yes, the system is against them,
Right.
but they also do bad behavior
And-
that breed
And
stereotypes.
that's why it's important. That's why it's important to have.
I hope you heard what they just said, man. There's certain bad behaviors that get coddled. Let's rewind that.
Right.
Why?
And I think this
Yeah.
film, it does a lot of, the whole issue of like, are we coddling these kids like Reggie in the film who,
Right.
yes, the system is against them,
Right.
but they also do bad behavior
And-
that breed
And
stereotypes.
that's why it's important. That's why it's important to have that conversation. No one wants to talk about perception when it comes to racial profiling. No one wants to talk about stereotypes when it comes to racial profiling. This is what I know. I'm a certified scuba diver. My first day of class, they told me this: When you're in shark infested waters, everything in that water is considered a threat until proven otherwise.
So he's talking about how police pretty much police the people. Everything is considered a threat until proven otherwise. And there's a perception amongst a certain culture. It's not just, oh, you're black, you know, I perceive you to be this and that and this. Sometimes it's just a culture. Sometimes it's the names that these parents are giving these kids. You know, you can tell not only that this person, you know, might be black, and I don't think that that's the main thing that they see. I think is that, you know, they see certain names and they're like, this person is probably mad ghetto or uneducated just based on the names that their parents decided to give them. Nobody thinks about that. They automatically assume, oh, you know, they're probably not, you know, accepting this person because, oh, they know that this is a black person. It's not that. And when you talk about white high school dropouts compared to the black college students, I'll look that up. I'll look that up for sure. You know, I'm not big on Forbes. You know, Forbes puts out a lot of bullshit because you have to look at, you know, the records of these people. But a white high school dropout will land a better job than a black college student. I don't know about that, to look into that. And we got to see what are the factors, you know, regarding this, man. Had to reset the live, says you have to add me back. Yeah, I don't see. Let me see. I'm gonna remove you, Fly Guy. And then maybe you could try to come back in. But let me see. This is the link if you want to come back in. But yeah, you know, I'll have to look into that because you also have to consider the you know, the what do you call it, the record, the arrest record. You know, do they have, are all these things there when they look for jobs? You know, because when you look for a job, they look at you know, your record and all of that. And a lot of these jobs in universities actually will accept black people before other races because, you know, there's certain movements that are pushing for that. You know, that's a fact. It's just black people don't participate in certain things so they can take advantage of these benefits that are out there for them. There's a lot of benefits out here for black people, black women, and black men. It says devices not connected. I don't understand that. I don't know why it's saying devices not connected, bro. They will need to reconnect their mic cam before you can add them. Yeah, you have to like connect your mic or something. It says devices not connected. I don't understand what's going on. I'm gonna play this though.
If it's a guppy, it could be a shark until you know it's a guppy. And I think as black men, we need to realize we're in shark-infested waters. And if we don't sit our young men down and we don't talk to them about perception, if we don't talk to them about stereotypes, we're doing them a huge disservice. Because if the police pull me over, prime example, I got pulled over by the police, come over to my window, flash his light in my face, hand on my pistol. I can handle that two ways. I can start yelling and screaming and tell him he a racist and he don't know me. You doing this wrong. Or I can say, yes, officer. No, officer, or we done, officer. And both of them have drastically different outcomes.
That's a fact.
Because what happens with young black men, everything is susceptible to the question of your manhood. And what's going on in these streets ain't got nothing to do with my manhood. Interesting. If I'm gonna fight a police, I'm gonna fight him in a controlled environment, a court of law. I'm not going to fight them on the streets.
But then what happens when we have these incidents that happen, you know, maybe we've got differing evidence. We don't know how it escalated to what happens. Right. And then we don't ever get to the court of law.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. Because now we're in a position where you can't fight your battle because we are relying on evidence. We can't get your truth. As a black man, your job is to make sure your truth is heard. That's it. So if the police want to wild out, I promise you, if you sit back, yes, officer, no, officer. If I'm wrong, arrest me, officer. Are you talking back? No, sir, officer. Why are you being aggressive? This is not aggression, officer. If it escalates past that, there's nothing you could have done anyway. All cops aren't bad cops. 99% of cops are really good dudes and women. I've 99% of the people I've met that are cops are dope. I have a lot of friends that are cops, but that 1%, that's the problem. And you want to give yourself every opportunity not to end up a statistic. And not saying you're doing anything wrong, not saying the cops are wrong, not saying you're wrong, but you have to realize the position that you're in. As a beautiful young lady, you have to realize the position that you're in. And you have to do everything to make sure you make it home at night. That's what my daddy taught me. And I think that's what's so important about this movie. If you look at Octavia Spencer's character, the way she deals with her son, if you look at what I say to Reggie about him being a stereotype of what white people want to think, certain people want you to justify what they view you to be. And you can't give them that right.
Take their power, but not doing it.
100%.
All right, so I just wanted to show that real quick. But yeah, there's also, like I said before, Skeptical Mantis, there's a higher, I know that there's a higher home ownership rate amongst white people than black people. I think even when you compare certain education, you know, like you were doing with the high school dropouts. I don't know about the high school dropouts, you know, compared to college students, but I'll look into that. I'm about to end this because it looks like I don't know what's going on with Fly Guy, but yeah, I don't know what's going on, bro. But like I said before, Skeptical Mantis, there's a higher age median between black people and white people. That black households tend to be a lot younger than white households. So, you know, when you have people that are older, they're gonna actually have, you know, more money. They're wiser with their money. They have better credit scores usually, and all of that. But yeah, you know. So Philando Castile got pulled over, and cops killed him for nothing. He was calm. Yeah, I agree with you that was a little bit crazy what happened there. But if you look at what was going on and the commands that he was given, you know, he was actually reaching for a gun, and when the cop was saying, you know, don't reach. And, you know, that cop got a little too hyped and trigger happy, I believe. But they gave that cop the immunity over that because of the fact that there was a gun that he was reaching for. And this guy wasn't listening to the commands to not reach for it. So I believe that was the reason that the cop got off. But why are you singling out that one case of Philando Castile? Because I can give you a case of Daniel Shaver, who was a white guy, you know, who was actually being calm too, you know, if we want to talk about, you know, these different police shootings. Why are you singling out Philando Castile like all these liberals do out here, like the liberal media? You say you're not a liberal, but you're talking just like a liberal, man. You're talking just like these liberals out here that like to point out just these cases, these single out certain cases just because, you know, it's a black person. So I'm wondering why you're pointing out just that. Corey Kamir killed over 20 white women, but the national media was silent. Can you imagine if the races were reversed? Yeah, man. What do you think about that, Skeptical Mantis? There's a lot of cases out here where it's a black person, you know, being racist, being crazy, killing, you know, a bunch of white people, you know, like Darrell Brooks in Waukesha, Wisconsin. And, you know, they don't want to call that a racist, a race crime, a hate crime. You know, they don't really give that much attention to it. That went away really quick, you know, but, you know, you said Philando Castile told the cop that he had a legal gun. Yeah, he was asked to show his license and he tried to get in and he was killed. Yeah, I think that's what it was. He was trying to reach for his license and the cop mistook it for him trying to reach for his gun. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't agree with everything that happened there, but I understand why they ruled it in favor of the cop. Because you have the burden of proof now to prove that the cop did something that he shouldn't have done. And all the evidence showed that he could have mistaken this guy who he did not know. He didn't know, this guy from nothing. That, just because he's saying it's a legal gun, whatever. He did tell him he had a gun. And I think that's what got the cops scared immediately. And now you have the burden of proof. You have to prove that the cop did something that he shouldn't have done, and they couldn't prove it against him. Cops usually get off because they have qualified immunity. So, the killing of Shaver was fucked up. Why didn't anyone do anything? Because we understand that cops get away with certain things and they're justified in certain situations. Now, the cops didn't get charged for that one either. So you're saying, why didn't white people care? I think it's because they're brainwashed to support police. It could be that, right? I don't know if that's the case, that white people are brainwashed to support police, because there's a lot of white people that are against police. The liberals in Portland, Seattle, New York City, there's a large part of BLM that is white people, white liberals. So why didn't white people care? I mean, why are you racializing it? How come black people didn't care just because the person's white? There's white people marching for black people. So do you see black people or white people marching or protesting for white people? I see white people and black people protesting and marching for black people. The points that you're trying to make are retarded as hell, man. I don't know. Have you done your research on these topics? I think it's because there's not a victim mentality. There's also not a media circus just only pointing out the cases, of black people. Daniel Shaver, I don't believe really went national and like it did with these black cases. I think there's more of a reaction and outrage when it's a black person because of the racial dynamics behind it. The media kept telling us a racist white person was burning black churches until David Lopez Jackson was arrested. The media went silent on that. We should all oppose the police state, but it's not a police state. I wouldn't call it that. I think you're a little extreme with your ideas about the police, bro. I mean, goddamn, I support the police. I have friends that are police. I understand the job that they have to do, in a country where we have a lot of crime. This country has way more crime than China. How you were comparing it before. And the reasons behind that, why we have more people in jail, like you were saying, because we just have more crime. There's a different culture in this country. There's a different culture that accepts a lot of this negative attitude. Opposing police. After Police was a popular song, amongst the black community, hip hop culture. They're still saying that today, After Police. They don't say that in any other country. They don't have those songs in any other countries like that. That's only in this country, So there's already negativity against the cops, and mostly when it's a black victim. So, they single out those cases of a black person, But yeah, Daniel Shaver was another dude, who was shot by police, in a hotel, I believe in Arizona or something like that. So, why are you only singling out Philando Castile? You're doing what the media does. They only single out cases of black people. You're doing the same thing as if this is only unique to black people, when it's not. This happens to everybody, man. So now you're changing your tone that we should all oppose the cops. No, we don't need to oppose the cops. We understand that cops are necessary. Sometimes they do things that people are not going to agree with, but because they're a necessary entity, people understand that we need them. And I don't know, because black people are more willing to fight back because of their history. Well, I think that black people are being used as a tool, for this. I don't know if there's a bigger reason for this rebellion and all of this stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of rebellion amongst the black community. There's been a history of it, and a lot of it was for good reasons. I agree, back then. But I don't think that today there's a good reason to have the mentality that a lot of the people have, such as yourself. Blacks initiated movements against Police killing. Some white people joined the war. Yeah, it's because of the history. People assume that, okay, we have a history of racism and discrimination. And they just kind of follow the movements because they think it's happening again, I guess. But I think that people are being very ignorant and being misled by the media. There's tons of cases of white people being shot by police, you know what I mean? Daniel Shaver is one of them. You know, you can look at the video if you want. I mean, I don't know if y'all seen the video. I don't know if they're gonna block me. I don't know. But I guess we could just pop this open. Yeah, he was shot in a hotel. He didn't have a gun. He had one in the room. It looked like it was a pellet gun. And the cop was found not guilty of all charges. So same thing that happens to black people happens to white people. You can find out these situations. You might find that it happens more to black people because black people put themselves in these situations more often, you know, as compared to white people. So they try to change it up now. Okay. So, you know, sometimes you can find these situations. Let me see if they drew any attention to it. BLM. I didn't see a lot of noise for it, to tell you the truth. But, you know, there's a police killing that doesn't have racism, that you can't assume racism in it. So it's just like the shootings of black people, but you know, it's a white person. Why do we just assume racism? Would be my question. Do you think that's a logical thing as a skeptic to just assume that when a black person gets shot that it's race related just because they're black and the cop might be white? I don't think that's logical, man. But all lives matter, people said nothing. Yeah. No, I think people were talking about that. You know, I'm a person that spoke about it. I'm talking about it now. I still talk about it. I spoke about it at the time. Tony Timpa, you know, there's a lot of these cases. But yeah, but people didn't make as much noise. And even BLM didn't make as much noise as they do for other cases. So, you know, it's getting late, man. I'm going to call it a night. Getting tired. But it's been interesting. Thank y'all for joining. Thanks to FlyGuyLocs. I don't know if Brooklyn Outlaw is still in here. But appreciate you guys joining. Yeah, but I don't know if anybody else wants to join and maybe ask some questions. I don't. Yeah, I think all lives matter is not so much a movement like the BLM movement is, where they're going to protest. I think it's just this. It's a principle that not one race matters over another. You know, we all matter. And, you know, I agree with that principle. I agree that Black lives matter, but I agree that all lives matter, you know? And that's my beef with BLM, is that they're not really talking about, you know, how this happens to all people. They're making it seem like this is a Black problem, and they're making it seem like the blame is, you know, solely on the police, when many times, you know, it's the people that bring on these problems. You know, like what's the one guy in Louisiana who pulled out a gun? You know, Rayshard Brooks. A lot of these people, they bring it on themselves. They'll resist arrest. You know, I don't always agree with shooting, you know, just because somebody resisted arrest. But when you resist arrest, you're making it harder for the police, pretty much. But, you know, I'm gonna call it a night, man. Looks like everybody's done for the night. Thank y'all for joining. Thanks to FlyGuyLocs, Brooklyn Outlaw, Skeptical Mantis. But it's been interesting. I agree with all lives matter in principle, but they're hypocritical bootlickers for the cops. I don't agree with everything the cops do, man. I just agree that cops are unnecessary, and I don't agree with the vilifying of the cops. I think it's stupid. I think it makes, and it's actually hurting, the community even more. That's my main beef, pretty much. Do you have a regular live broadcast time? I don't. It used to be Sundays at 9, like I went today, but I kind of do it spur of the moment, but yeah, I like to go on like on the weekends, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, but yeah, I don't have a regular time really. But yeah, if you ever want to join, you can email me. I'll send my email real quick. Y'all can hit me up anytime. And yeah, we need some form of law enforcement, current police instruction. Well, like the New York City police instructor, they use technology called ComStat, which I think is really good, and it removes any human bias. It removes all of that, and it's just technology that looks for, where the most recent high crimes were committed at, and it puts cops, in that area. So it tries to eliminate any bias, any racism, any targeting, that people don't like. But look that up, ComStat technology. But yeah, it's my email. Hit me up if you want to say something. You want to join. You want to join me live if you have any, anything to say. You want to go live with me. Just hit me up, man. I appreciate y'all joining in. We'll call it a night. It's already midnight. So peace out, y'all.